Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Just a quick note here before we get into it, and a disclosure that all of this information that I'm going to give you is purely my own opinion and speculation on this. And I've basically formed this opinion. I do truly believe that this could possibly be it based on a logical review of all of the information that was presented to me, including the logos, previous articles and official statements by Activision, by Treyarch, by all of these other divisions that make up the franchise, and looking over the franchise over the last few years as well. So anyway, what I'm going to be talking about is the Call of Duty Elite service. All we've got is a logo, but we also know that it's Beachhead that's working on it. We also know that there's been no official statement of Beachhead actually creating a Call of Duty title, only this online universe or whatever they're referring to it as. And then we know that Modern Warfare 3 is coming out. If the rumors are true, if this Call of Duty Elite service created by Beachhead is indeed going to sort of simultaneously launch with Modern Warfare 3, you can be guaranteed it's a supplementary service. And here's where I think that we're actually going with this. I truly believe that Call of Duty Elite is kind of like your online store, like a separate store within the store. So a separate store within the Xbox Live Marketplace and on the PlayStation Network, the PlayStation Store. And basically, over the years, we've seen a lot of form, and a lot of people have constantly, I read a lot of comments over the forums over the last few years, and one thing that people love about Call of Duty is customization. Whether it's with your weapons, your characters, or whatever it happens to be. Loving the unlocks, you know what I mean? Like 25 headshots to get Blue Tiger, whether it was back in COD 4, whether it's in Black Ops, doesn't matter. Customization is something that is coveted by many Call of Duty players. So I think Activision has picked up on this, and also looking at the success of all of these free-to-play games, which they're not really. I mean, technically in the core of them, they are free to play, but these microtransactions. So it's essentially free, but these tiny little increments where they get you and you start seeing them and you like buying them, you could end up paying a lot more for the game overall than you would if you were to actually buy a disc-based game. That being said, the success of the microtransaction market, in conjunction with the noted desirability of customization within the Call of Duty series, I think what Activision has actually done here, and I think that we will honestly see this, that the Call of Duty Elite service, or whatever the product is, or do you want to call it service or product, I don't really know. But it's basically going to offer an unprecedented level of customization. I think that you're going to be able to go in there almost, and I don't know if it's going to be, this is pure speculation, but if you're going to do something like that, why not be able to allow people to actually create almost an avatar type experience with your players? So rather than going in and, with Black Ops, you could say, I want to choose this character, and based on the perk you use, it changed how the person looked. You could change the face plant. You could change the face paint, weapon customization. I think what we're about to see here is these Call of Duty games, and say having Modern Warfare 3 in the Call of Duty Elite store, and being able to actually highly customize your character so that he doesn't always change. It doesn't matter, what perks you use or the weapons or whatever it is. You can actually customize it like an avatar. Change his facial features, change how big he is, how small he is, how he moves, maybe even to do with weapons as well. If you actually have the weapons, you could do a heightened, look at the success and how many people loved using the emblem creators, slapping it on your guns, different paints on the guns. Everybody loves that in Call of Duty. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a huge number of that. And I think Activision has picked up on this. So I think what you're going to see is Call of Duty Elite as being this incredible customization sort of store, which is going to be microtransaction based. Oh yeah, you could be guaranteed if they're going to be throwing this at you, you're going to be paying money for it. And you know what? Quite honestly, I'm going to probably do it as well, because I like customization as well. But think about it of a Call of Duty game when your character is not only, like we all choose the same sort of face paints and everything, like I was going to say plants again, face paints on the other people, but your character looks distinctly different from everyone else. That is very cool. Yes, I know a lot of you don't like Call of Duty, and that's fine. You're not going to be playing it anyway, but thanks for watching the video. But even if with that heightened sense of customization, I think that alone will make Modern Warfare 3, without even seeing it, make it that much more appealing. People are like, wow, awesome, I'm going to have this own, you know, unique character. And that's something that no other, you know, they're saying it's going to revolutionize the genre. And when I think about that, I think, you know what, that very well, although it seems small in terms of the, you know, the gameplay and the maps and balancing, I think having this super customizable character that is distinguished from all the other characters in the actual map, when someone sees you like, hey, that's, you know, that's Guns for Hire, or that's Spider Bite, and you can tell by it, although someone might be able to mimic it, you know, I think that's very, very cool. It's like being able to recognize someone actually in the game and being very, very unique and standing out from everyone else. So that's exactly what I think this Call of Duty Elite is. I think it's incredible customization, not only of potentially of weapons, maybe unique weapons, where you could buy them out there and it applies in the game. Rather than unlocking it, you could actually buy all the normal weapons in the game, but you can actually buy specialized weapons and put on specialized paints on them, create emblems, and all sorts of other good stuff, but more customization in terms of the actual character. And I think that's where we're heading there. So anyway, that's my money on it. We're going to find out very soon, as soon as they announce what this Call of Duty Elite is, this service, because they have confirmed already that it is indeed in the making. We just don't know what it is, but that, I'm honestly, you know, I know it's speculation, but I do truly feel that this is what it is, it's going to be. So that's where my money is. Leave your comments below. Do you think that perhaps it's something else? Do you see my point on it? Do you think that if it is that point where it's super customizable characters in the Call of Duty franchise, is that something that may pique your interest? Even if you're kind of a little bit bored, is it enough to pique your interest in it? I don't know. I mean, if it's using the Infinity game engine and they add this customization, again, look at me. I'm already getting excited about Call of Duty. Don't worry about it. I'm still excited about Battlefield 3 as well, but you know, something to re-energize my interest and my love back in Call of Duty would be welcomed at this point here, because again, as you all know, and I'm bashing it again, well, not bashing it, I'm just bored of Black Ops. So I think they can perfect it, and this is definitely, I think, a step in the right direction if it is how I see it. Anyway, those are just my opinions. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Modern Warfare 3 Survival Co-op mode. And the reason why we're going to talk about this is, number one, is because we have a lot of leaked information about it. I know it's unofficial, we're not supposed to talk about it, but who really cares? It's already out there, deal with it. But the reason why I want to talk about it is this, and I'm going to go out there, and it's not going to be a gun shop guarantee, but I'm going to go so far. You know, I've seen a lot of things, followed the Call of Duty series for a long time. Many of you have too, and I'm not saying that, you know, my insight is any more powerful than yours, you know, or I have a connection. But just watching the series progress, seeing that, you know, although a lot of people think that Activision or the companies affiliated with it to do with the Call of Duty series aren't really listening to us and it's broken, blah, blah, blah. And believe me, I'm there as well. They do actually listen, and even if it goes awry, like if it doesn't exactly sink in with what we had in mind and it doesn't work, the fact is that they're trying to make it work. So with Black Ops, you know, although I'm disappointed with it, it's not fun for me, at least what they did was they listened to the community and said, okay, let's do balancing. Let's get rid of Juggernaut and stopping power. Let's do reporting so we can report cheaters. Let's stop using tac insertion so that people can't boost. You know what I mean? All of these are really good ideas. It's just sometimes the execution of them don't exactly fit together. Now, I know some of you would disagree, and that's fine. That's your personal opinion. This is just mine. Now, when we're talking about Modern Warfare 3, as I said before, over the years looking at all this stuff, what I don't want to do is get swept up or get caught up, and I know I will, because I'm just like you, believe me. I see the trailers and I'm like, wow, did you see that? I can't believe it's going to be the best game ever. You're never going to play a better game. You know what I mean? I get swept up. I like it. I like the marketing. You know what I mean? I'm not immune to it. So before we see these trailers and get all crazy, swept up, and our brains are like on crack or something because we're like, oh, I can't wait. I can't believe it. They're going to revolutionize Call of Duty. I'm going to go out and say this. the survival mode in Modern Warfare 3 is going to be the one of the best, if not the best aspect of that game. And I'm not trying to take away any other aspect. I'm not going to say that the campaign's not going to be solid. I'm not going to say that the multiplayer won't be revamped and really, really tight, because I'm looking forward to that as well, namely because it's the Infinity Ward or the Modern Warfare 2 engine sort of peaked, but because I think that the ability to take what we play and what we love so much. Many of us love zombies in Black Ops and World at War. It's crazy. Some people have channels dedicated strictly to zombies. We've always played zombies, and now we have our separate zombie channel that we cover this. But looking at the success of that, it seems that Infinity Ward, or Activision more accurately, is listening again to the community. It knows that we like that sort of style. It knows that zombie style there, and not just the simple fact that it's zombies, because I don't think that's really it. I think it's the gameplay. Like many of you preach to me all the time, it's not to do with the graphics, it doesn't do, although they go hand in hand, it's nothing to do with the graphics, it's about the gameplay, it's about making it fun. So that being said, Activision looks at zombies and goes, wow, like that's a piece of the overall game, but it's blown up, people love it, and it's that unique style that Treyarch brought to zombies. Because, I mean, you've got Left 4 Dead, which is fine. It's fun. I'm not saying that you got Dead Island, Dead Rising 2, all those other games. But for me, and for many other people, that little mini game that Treyarch created, and I'll call it mini because it's not the main game. It's blown up to be a huge chunk of it. But that mini game that Treyarch created, and that style of zombies, and that gameplay where it's wave after wave of zombies getting harder and crazier, I would argue is more powerful and more popular than, well, obviously more popular because it's, they sold billions, but nonetheless, it is more fun. I would much rather play like 2 of those maps than play my entire Dead Rising 2. I got bored of it very, very simply. Just because there's zombies in it doesn't make the game fun. So that being said, the simple fact that zombies really isn't the key reason why that game is fun. It's the style of gameplay. Yes, it adds atmosphere, having these ghouls and everything like that, but it's the type of game that we are engaging in, that sense of cooperation. You and one or even solo up to 4 other players going in this and battling it out against swarm and increasingly difficult waves of enemies. That's the key. So what I'm thinking here, in all honesty, I think that the survival mode in Modern Warfare 3 is going to be epic. I think it's going to be the biggest thing. I think it's going to be bigger than the zombies that's in Black Ops. I'm going to go out there right now and I'm going to say that survival mode in Modern Warfare 3, even if you're not looking forward to playing the multiplayer because you guys are sick of it, or you're sick of the campaigns and playing that, I can almost guarantee you that the price of that game alone is going to almost be worth playing, just buying those games. I would actually, if it's like zombies, but turned into sort of modern warfare, basically, with weapons and enemies that can shoot you, and the sounds, even if you look at the maps, instead of just having a storyline or anything like that, and like, they say Radar or Village, and Village is the one that tipped me off. When I read Village, I'm like, Village. Obviously, these maps are going to be set up, not like if you played the Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2, and you did the very first, I think it's the very first one, where you're up on that peak and you just stay up on this tower and you're just hitting constant enemies and you don't really move anywhere. I mean, you can, but they're just going to overpower you. So you're confined to like this one perch and you've got weapons and you're shooting. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I think they're going to amalgamate that. They're going to take that experience and say, you know what, it was somewhat successful, but zombies is really where it's at. So let's replicate that, but use the soldiers. Use the soldiers that are going to be shooting at you. Maybe they start off easy, but then we get headshot, we get snipers, we get increasingly difficult people with RPGs. It's going to get absolutely insane. And I think the fact that when I see Village, I know it's just the title and everything, but I think, well, if they're calling it Village, then there's got to be some sort of way to move around like we do in zombies. And if that's the case, doing it Modern Warfare, using the Infinity Ward, the Modern Warfare 2 engine, having that feel, that amazing, less lag feel, less input lag or whatever, their ping software is a lot better. Having that with the weapons in Modern Warfare and having soldiers that sort of interact rather than just chew on you, I think we're in for a big treat here. And I'm going to say it right now that the survival mode in Modern Warfare 3 is going to be the biggest thing, the next biggest thing in the Call of Duty. I think it's going to explode. and we're going to be right on there. So I'm putting it out there right now. Again, it's not a gunshot guarantee because I don't know the details of it. I'm just going based on what I've seen here and based on the fact that I think they've taken a note from Treyarch and looked at the success of zombie mode, and I think they're going, you know what, I think we can do our own version, and I think they're going to do a better version. Remember, it's not about graphics. Zombies, you know, we've seen zombies in other games, and that's not really what made the game pop. It's the gameplay. It's that style. It's that moving around. Maybe, and hopefully, they've taken a cue of this as well. Can you imagine if they put Easter eggs in there too? I think that would be awesome. Hopefully, they can work on that. But you know what? Let's just concentrate on the gameplay. If they nail that, you can do the next one for Easter eggs or whatever. But one of these guys, I don't know if it's Treyarch. You know, if they do it properly, then I would much rather have Infinity Ward do it. Do a standalone game of this style and give us 10 maps. I guarantee you that thing's going to sell record high numbers. Anyway, that's it. Those are my opinions. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Now, I came across an article the other day, and for once I'm not going to put the link in the description below because, quite frankly, I'm questioning the legitimacy. Basically, I don't believe the article. But it brings up a good point and something that I want to talk to you about with respect to Modern Warfare 3. Now, the article talks about, it says alleged this contact who is game testing or is an alpha tester of Modern Warfare 3, which maybe he is, maybe he isn't, I don't know. And maybe these perks are real, and maybe they're not. But the perks, and we'll know soon enough anyway, maybe when we start seeing more pictures and stuff like that, and when the game comes out, because that's really when we're going to jump into this. But nonetheless, he talks about Point Blank, Lifeline, and Revelations. Revelations is like Scavenger. Point Blank is, I can't remember what the actual perk is, but we've seen it before. It's just when you reduce the reticle size so that you can shoot better from the hip and get better headshots with it. I can't remember what that one is. Anyway, and there's Sleight of Hand, Scavenger, or whatever it is. And then Lifeline. Lifeline, he said, is similar to Stopping Power Pro, or whatever it is. And this brings up my topic here. So who cares about whether it's legitimate or not? There's a bunch of liars out there. And by the way, those interfaces, and I know a lot of you are sending me messages with links to these pictures and everything like that. And thank you for sending me the messages, by the way. I do look at all the stuff. But what I'm going to say is most of those images of this alleged multiplayer interface for Modern Warfare 3 are bullcrap. First of all, there's spelling errors and other information where, you know, it's on Find Game. The actual highlight is on Find Game, and they've misplaced things. They've said, this is unlocked at level 5. Well, how can finding a game in a public match be unlocked at level 5? These things, these inconsistencies are just errors on the part of the stupid designers trying to fool you. So don't believe all that stuff, and who really cares if it's the interface for Modern Warfare 3? Are you really that excited about a multiplayer interface? Whatever. The information leaked in Kotaku, that massive leak, that's more meat potatoes and was actually confirmed for the most part by Infinity Ward themselves, like Robert Bowling. Nonetheless, let's get back to this. Now, he talks about Stopping Power. Previous to this, we've seen Call of Duty series with Stopping Power and Juggernaut, or just Stopping Power in the case of Modern Warfare 2. And I was one of those individuals like, you know, wouldn't it be nice to get rid of Stopping Power and Juggernaut to bring balance to the game? Which is exactly what Black Ops did. But not until we actually had a game where they eliminated that do you notice that there actually are other issues, and that the fact, and this is my position on this, is that, and believe me, I want to open this up to discussion, where Stopping Power and Juggernaut are not necessarily the cause of unbalance in the game. As a matter of fact, they can help to restore balance if the weapons are properly balanced themselves. And I think it lies more on the developer's lap whether or not they can create weapons that are balanced to begin with. You know what I mean? Taking all of that into consideration. Now, we've got issues. I'm going to go back at World at War, where you've got the MP40, incredibly overpowered weapon. Everyone, not everyone, a huge chunk of the gaming society actually used MP40 with Juggernaut. You didn't need Stopping Power, you didn't need anything else, because the weapon was so powerful that you could just slap on Juggernaut, making you harder to kill, but at the same time giving you the power of the top weapons out there. So there was an unbalance there. And it was made by Treyarch. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. And then you had Modern Warfare 2, which eliminated Juggernaut but kept stopping power. And again, I think there was an issue with that, because what happens was you gave stopping power to these snipers. And you know what? Quite frankly, I'd like to see us go back to the sniping capabilities of Modern Warfare 2 with the intervention, that sort of stuff. But hear me out. This is where the balance comes in. If Modern Warfare 2, and if Infinity Ward actually kept the Juggernaut perk in there, you know what I mean? To balance the stopping power, then people, if they got sick and tired of getting, quick scoped by these snipers, an individual who chose to give up stopping power, which I never usually do, ever. Never do. I would always choose stopping power. But give up stopping power to go for Juggernaut, thus negating these quick one-shot kills. And not everyone goes to Juggernaut, but the problem is that if you're going to introduce something like Juggernaut, you have to make sure it's critical that the weapons are more or less balanced. And I think actually we saw that for the most part in Call of Duty 4. We had stopping power in Juggernaut, and quite frankly, I thought that was beautifully balanced. Not everyone had Juggernaut, but for those that did, were sort of protected by those incredibly talented and powerful sniper rifle users, quickscoping people. Because there was quickscoping, but just not to the extent of Modern Warfare 2. I think it's more noticeable and prominent in Modern Warfare 2 because there's no Juggernaut. Because they just use stopping power with the sniper. People get snuffed out so easily. That introduction of the Juggernaut perk, I think, negates that ability. So I think we can go back to those times. I know it's like I'm falling back on it, but we don't know this until we actually see it. And we have to thank Black Ops or Treyarch, in all honesty, for trying all of these new things, for putting them all out on the table saying, let's try and do it this way. Let's try and do that. And personally, I don't think it was that successful. Personally, I think it took away from a lot of the enjoyment and the excitement of the game. But there's definitely ways to fix it. It's all about improving. So I think we need to reintroduce the stopping power and Juggernaut to balance each other, but also to bring balance from snipers. Bring that sniping capability back in there, but allow players that are sick and tired of getting sniped like that with using Juggernaut. And not everyone, like myself, never use Juggernaut. I just don't bother. Actually, that's not true. Countdown in Call of Duty 4, the one with the missile silos, and Search and Destroy is the only time that I ever consider using Juggernaut because of the grenades coming across. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because a lot of you never even played that game, although a lot of you probably have, but nonetheless. So I'd like to see maybe them going back. If it's true, if this, guy who put this article, which I'm not linking to, is actually a tester and there is stopping power, I'm hoping that there'll be some sort of reintroduction to Juggernaut to counter it. Because if they have just stopping power in there, I think we're going to have a balance issue again with weapons like sniper rifles. And I don't want to see them sniper rifles being nerfed. I think they should be there, and for those that don't want to protect themselves by using Juggernaut, fair game. Anyway, that's just my opinion on the perk system. That's what I'm looking forward to. I would like to see stopping power and Juggernaut back. I think they do bring balance, and I think it's more the onus on the actual developers to properly balance the weapons before these perk systems come online. Anyway, that's it. Leave your comments below. Let me know if you think that Juggernaut and stopping power have a place in Call of Duty and can be properly used to balance the game instead of just simply removing them. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Oh, there's all sorts of information, real and fake, swirling around the internet with Modern Warfare 3. We're on the eve, the cusp of seeing an official trailer, not these little teaser trailers which really give us nothing. Just sort of getting the juices flowing, so to speak, the America, England, France, and Germany ones. Didn't really give us anything, just sort of got the juices flowing, saying, hey, it's official, we're starting the marketing campaign now. Well, on the 24th, apparently the official trailer is coming out during an NBA game, I believe. So once that's out, then I will do a video on that discussing, what we've seen and trying to dissect it and taking other people, and I'll, look all over the internet to see what people have extracted from it, because what I extract from it may be different or even scratching the surface compared to some of the people out there, and I'll try and bring it all together and then deliver it to you. However, I want to talk about a lot of leaked information. A lot of you are sending me messages, and thank you. I do check them out. As I said, I do check all of my messages. I just can't respond to all of them because there's so many of them. So just remember that. I don't have time to be doing that all day, but I do read them at least. Nonetheless, a lot of leaked images of the multiplayer interface, and I would say that probably every single one of them is fake. And they're fake for a number of reasons. Either there's spelling errors in it, they're using like the latest one or whatever that I visited, and I even commented on, because I was like, come on, man, you're just wasting everyone's time and putting Photoshop stuff out there simply, whatever, to attract people and get it there. But whatever, and we all do our little things to gain views, and I'm guilty of that as well. Nonetheless, they're fake images. Number one, the one that I looked at had a picture of Ghost, who died in Modern Warfare 2. The image was from Modern Warfare 2. The music in the background was Modern Warfare 2. And why would they use images from Modern Warfare 2? Why would they use anything from Modern Warfare 2 when you're talking about a brand new series? It's just not going to happen. So, the Photoshop, the colors seem a little off. But the other thing, too, that you're going to notice is at the bottom there, it says Sledgehammer Games, Activision, and Infinity Ward on the multiplayer screen. Well, anyone that's actually following this and paying attention to the development of this game knows that Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward are actually creating the campaign mode, and it's Raven Software that is actually creating the multiplayer. So why would you put Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and Activision on the multiplayer screen when it's actually Raven Software? If anything, I would put Activision and Raven Software, or Activision Infinity Ward, if they wanted to put their name in there for whatever reason, so the people can see it. But you wouldn't put Sledgehammer and omit the actual company creating the game. So nonetheless, it's fake. They're all fake. The only thing that's been verified by Activision is that giant release of information on Kotaku, which had a tremendous amount of information. They're saying it's not fully true or whatever, not all of it's true or whatever, but they never said what parts aren't. So nonetheless, there's a huge amount of information there. And, that's enough to keep me going for a long time, because there's a lot of information in there. I can't wait to see the trailers and to see a little bit more about what they're talking about in terms of survival mode and the co-op mode, to see what we're going to be getting into here, and maybe some of the other features of the game, including perk systems. That's a very, very big thing as well. Anyway, leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Now, I know some of you, this won't be very shocking. Some of you actually have knowledge of this and you're already aware that this is likely going to happen. Although this is a rumor, and of course the article that I'm talking about, the link to it is in the description if you want to read it yourself. But there's a high probability that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 coming out this holiday season will not be available for the Wii. Yes, I know, I've read lots of comments from PC, Xbox, and PS3 saying, yeah, well, no shock there, blah, 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 fanboy stuff. But the fact is that there are multiple versions, or different versions of the Call of Duty franchise that are available for the Wii. Black Ops was made for the Wii, World at War was made for the Wii, and also Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was also made for the Wii. However, it is not shocking. Modern Warfare with the title of Infinity Ward, and this isn't 100% certain, it just seems to be highly probable based on the past. Now, while Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which was made by Infinity Ward, was actually for the Wii, what some of you may not realize is that it was actually ported by Treyarch. Infinity Ward didn't do it. So Modern Warfare came out, Infinity Ward did not make it available for the Wii, What the Wii got in 2008, I believe, 2008, they got World at War, made by Treyarch. And Treyarch made it, and it was released at the same time as everyone else. 2009, when Modern Warfare 2 came out, we actually got Modern Warfare, the original one, because it was actually ported by Treyarch. So you got World at War, Treyarch, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, ported by Treyarch, then in 2000, which was when Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then when Black Ops came out, made by Treyarch, it was made for the Wii as well. So it is highly unlikely, based on these events, unless they've changed it dramatically, that Wii gamers are going to see Modern Warfare 3. They may actually end up getting Modern Warfare 2 ported by Treyarch again, but who knows? I have no idea if that's going to happen, but the rumor is that they will not get it. The other thing is that the retailers are basically saying that all of the advertising or the marketing or the pre-sales are only for PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. There's no mention of the Wii in there. So that's another little sort of heads up that it probably is not going to the Wii. Again, this isn't 100%. It's just based on previous events, the way that Infinity Ward has always sort of taken their business and not made games for the Wii, and the fact that there's no news or information on selling it to Wii customers from the retail standpoint at this point here. So unfortunately, I would say that it's not going to be. You may get it again later if Treyarch or Activision says, listen, you need to make a port for it. I don't know how it's going to happen. But again, this is all going to probably go away. And if that's the case, if the new Wii 2 is coming out in 2012, there's a good possibility you're not going to see it ported. If it's going to be ported, it's going to be, wait till the Wii 2 comes out with the sort of higher end. And it may be easier for the developers to port it to that system rather than using the Wii controller, the nunchuck, using a more sort of conservative or conventional controller with the 2 analog sticks. So they may be waiting for that. Nonetheless, that's the rumor. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Now, I know a lot of you sent messages regarding this, and I've seen it myself, where Robert Bowling on Twitter has basically suggested that they're not using the Modern Warfare 2 engine. And you're like, because I said, oh, well, they're using the same engine in this one, so don't expect too much to change. And you're like, no, he said that they've actually changed it. And I think you've sort of read too much into his statement and not fully understood what he's written there. And they do this on purpose. Depending on what they write, it can be very confusing to sort of pluck out the truth from it. I actually addressed this last year when the rumors were swirling about Modern Warfare 3 using the Modern Warfare 2 engine. And Robert Bowling at that time came out again and officially said, listen, just because we're using the core engine doesn't mean that it's the same. We'll be tweaking it and updating it and everything like that. He had actually already confirmed that it is indeed the Modern Warfare 2 engine. And in the recent statement with the Twitter, you have to very carefully read what he said. What he says is, we've moved beyond the Modern Warfare 2 engine and added a lot of cool stuff from Modern Warfare 3. The nature of the words there, when you add something to something, that means it's already pre-existing. They are using the Modern Warfare 2 engine, but just like normal, they're adding on to it, they're tweaking it, which is what they essentially, I believe, did with the Modern Warfare engine. So they went from COD 4, which is why it has a very similar feel to it. And you don't want them to, they don't need to revolutionize anything. So just hear me out on this one here, and before you jump all over the place, they don't need to. My position on this is, the gameplay for Call of Duty doesn't require a Frostbite 2 engine, which is what Battlefield 3 is going to be using, because, that photorealism gameplay is not required in Call of Duty. I mean, you get a certain level of graphics and movement. It's mainly the feel of the game. As long as the feel of the game is there, that quick responsiveness, which is very much akin to the Modern Warfare or Call of Duty series, then you're fine. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it would be nice to have those additional lighting effects and all the particle effects and stuff like that, and especially with the destructibility of the environments, which is rumored to be in Modern Warfare 3. you know, you will have to tweak the engine. But make no mistake that this is the Modern Warfare 2 engine. Things have just been added to it. It's just been improved. It's not like Frostbite 2.0, which has basically been revamped and constructed from the ground up. This is simply taking a very well working you know, engine and adding on to it, improving it. So no, it is not a brand new engine, but at the same time, it's not exactly the exact same engine from Modern Warfare 2. It is the engine, it's just been improved upon, and that's it. So like I said, I mean, we don't even need it. I would be happy, even if they just slapped in Modern Warfare 2 engine in it, I wouldn't care, I wouldn't even be worried about it, because they don't need to. Not for what Call of Duty is. They do not need to have a brand new engine from the ground up. It should be fine, and the fact that they're tweaking it like they did, and it was noticeable from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, number 4 or whatever, to Modern Warfare 2, there was a noticeable improvement in the engine, even though it was just tweaked from the first one. So I'm assuming that even if they just tweak the next one for Modern Warfare 3, it's going to still be just as amazing, and you're going to notice the changes, but they don't need to do it from the ground up. Anyway, leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Well, the Modern Warfare 3 official trailer has been officially released, obviously, and I've reviewed it to the best of my ability, so I'm going to give you my sort of take on it, my review or analysis on it. Now, just keep in mind that other people, regardless as to where you watch other videos or read the reviews, certain people are going to pick up on different aspects of that video. So there's likely going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to miss, and if there's other stuff that people pick up, you know, naturally, I do the news and reviews. So when I read a lot of the reviews tomorrow, I will basically tabulate, bring it all together, and give you stuff that I haven't seen, which is likely a lot of stuff. Nonetheless, this is what I saw after I watched it, and I have to disclose the fact that I watched it in normal speed, 720, you know, full screen or whatever, and I watched it probably at least, at minimum 5 times, normal speed, just watching it through. And then I went through it several other times, probably 3 to 4, not as many, but I went through it basically pausing it on almost every major scene, taking a look at what we're looking at, you know, like the weapons, tanks, aircraft, the environments, what we're looking at there. So I did try and go through it very, very thoroughly before I did this video, which is also why it's taken me a while to get this video out. Nonetheless, this is what I saw in it. Number one, I'm glad to see the fact that the MP5, and I mentioned this before, but I like to see that they've gone back to not only what Call of Duty 4 was in terms of that MP5, because I'm not a huge fan of the MP5K. Personally, I think the weapon sucks. You know, I guess because, you know, the crowds or the public thought that too many people use the MP5, so all of a sudden they modified it, the MP5K, and quite frankly, I know a lot of people can use it. Hell, my own business partner or whatever, Spiderbite, used it all the time, and I don't even think he used any other weapon. In Modern Warfare 2, I used the Uzi Silence. That was the weapon that I chose for the SMG. Nonetheless, I like the fact that they've gone back to the MP5. And as a matter of fact, what it looks like, and I'm going to reference this a lot too, actually, in this, because it's an important part of it, but the released, or the leaked, rather, information that Kotaku had, which was more or less verified by Activision, saying yes, but not all of it's true, although we don't know what aspects aren't true. But anyway, nonetheless, they apparently have, and some of the images when I look there, I think they're showing the new version, which looks to be like a modified version of the Call of Duty 4 weapon. Not the MP5K, which is like hugely modified, but sort of just added on to the old style MP5. And I think that's going to be awesome. The other thing in the video that you may have noticed, and I think it was either in France or England, if you watch the trailer and it goes to a cutscene where 2 soldiers are in a dark room and there's fire and they're shooting across to a window where there's another guy. If you look at the one soldier who's right at the window, he's holding a G36. So at least at first I thought it was a FAMAS. I'm like, oh, they're bringing the FAMAS back. You know, not a big concern and not really shocking since the FAMAS, you know, #1 was in Modern Warfare 2 and it was also in Black Ops. Now it should be noted too that if they do bring the FAMAS back, which, you know, it's not going to be shocking if they do, but if they bring it back, it'll likely be 3-round burst fire like it was in Modern Warfare 2. After all, why would they switch it to Black Ops, which actually predated Modern Warfare, if they're going to bring it back? They need to stay true to the series. And if this is, you know, a true sequel, then the FAMAS should act the same way. But again, we're dealing with a video game, so maybe they found that people like the FAMAS more. But again, the FAMAS, if you're looking at it from Black Ops and they're listening to the community, they may think, oh, well, it was overused, everyone's using the FAMAS. The statistics that they showed was AK-74U, and the FAMAS and Black Ops. So obviously they may want to stay away from that. I don't think that was necessarily the case in Modern Warfare 2. So if they bring it back, I estimate, or I guess rather, that it's going to be the 3-round burst fire. But that the individual weapon you see in the window there, and I looked at a lot of different imagery, is I can almost guarantee you was the G36. Now some of you may have been, I know actually personally one of my friends actually was a huge fan of the G36. I didn't really like it. It was one of the most balanced weapons in Call of Duty 4. It did not make its return, I believe, in Modern Warfare 2. But it looks like they're bringing that G36 back. And in Call of Duty 4, it was, you know, if you look at it from a statistic standpoint, you know, when the damage rating and all that stuff, it looked like the G36 was the most balanced. And it wasn't bad at all. The accuracy was decent, the damage was decent, but usually the favorites in Call of Duty 4 was the MP5, the AK-47 Silence, I believe, for the most part, and of course the M16 with Red Dot. Those were like the huge weapons. And then of course, you know, you may have had your favorite, but just statistically that's where most people played with. But there were followers of the G36, so it's nice to see something coming back that way. Now here's something that we heard rumors about, and based on the leaked information of Kotaku, when they mentioned that they were bringing vehicles back, if you look at the leaked information, they show an APC, a twin Huey, right? But there are no weapons in it. There's no, you know, there was no mounted machine guns on it, indicating that perhaps they're bringing, you know, vehicles back, but it's strictly for personnel carrier. Now the maps are supposed to be bigger. There's supposed to be, you know, more environmental damage, you know what I mean, where you can actually blow up buildings and stuff, which kind of would make sense if they're going to want to sort of capsize or sort of stop the loss, stop the bleeding going over to Battlefield 3, because a lot of those features are actually very attractive to gamers. They look at Battlefield, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 2, and the upcoming, what we know about Battlefield 3 is that there's a lot of destructibility, and I think they're going to bring that in. If you look at the trailer, I know it's just a trailer, there's a lot of focus on buildings getting blown up, a lot of particles flying everywhere, debris going everywhere, simulating that there's a lot of environmental destruction there. And again, I know it's just, you know, these are just things I'm picking up. This is just a feeling I have. Now here's another feeling that I have. I think, and I'm just putting this out there, I think that we are going to see tanks. Tanks in multiplayer. And this is why. We see tanks in there. Now I know in World of, what is it? World at War? Yes, I almost forgot that. I was going to say World of Warcraft. When the orcs came and everything. World at War from Treyarch, we saw tanks in there. I didn't personally have a big problem with them, but a lot of you guys didn't like them. They didn't think it was equally balanced, and they were very hard to destroy. If you were in a tank, you know, people could throw on a satchel charge and try and blow it up that way. But they were very difficult. But here's the thing. I think that they are going to bring tanks back, and here's why. The A-10, the Thunderbolt, the Tank Buster, the Warthog, whatever you want to call it. I like calling it the Tank Buster, but the A-10 Tank Buster, when you see that jet in there, it's a U.S. aircraft. I don't know where it's actually made in real life. Well, whatever. Normally it's outsourced. Maybe it's made in the U.S. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. But they did show a lot of tanks in this. They showed a lot of tanks moving in here, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, you know, the balancing. But if they introduce the A-10 tank, or the Warthog rather, the Tank Buster, I think that's the counterpoint. And that's why I think that there's going to be tanks in this. Yes, they're showing tanks, but when they showed the A-10 Thunderbolt or whatever, Warthog, I know, whatever you want to call it, is specifically designed to destroy tanks and armored vehicles. That's their purpose. That's their job. Underneath the armor, underneath an A-10 Tank Buster is almost like sitting in a giant iron bathtub. It's meant to protect people. It's meant to be low flying. It's meant to get in there and get right where those tanks are. Not throwing bombs all over the place and getting buildings. They're meant to go low flying. They have a twin engine in the back, well, as you can see from the video. And their job is to destroy tanks and armored carriers. So I'm thinking that there is going to be tanks. I'm thinking that maybe one of the kill streaks or something along those lines, that, you know, one of the kill streaks is going to be an A10 tank buster. And I think it's going to be effective that when you pull up the map, you're going to know where the tanks are. As long as someone's somewhat there, kind of like in World at War. If you played that game, when you brought up your map, you could see the tanks. They were clear as days. They were lit up. So I think if they're going to balance it, this may actually be a good point, because in World at War, there was really no balance to the tanks. There was a tank, and if you got close enough to throw some C4 on, good luck with that, or, you know, your bazooka or rocket, but they were friggin' tough as hell. And I could own people in that. But to bring in an A10 tank buster, I think that's the counterpoint. So I think, don't be surprised if you see tanks in there, but with that counterpoint on there with kill streaks and stuff like that. Obviously, I think, the kill streaks here are not going to be back. I personally wanted to see it go back to 357. You know, back in Call of Duty 4 days, it was simpler. People didn't focus too much on kill streaks. They focused more on gunplay. They focused more on getting in there and doing their job rather than camping. So, good and bad, yes, I don't know. And the AC-130 scene is there again, so I think, again, we're going to see probably an AC-130 as a kill streak in there, which really wasn't that big of a problem. I don't know if we're going to see the nuke, but here's a good indicator. If they do the kill streaks, put it this way, I think it'll be a happy medium. If they take anything from Black Ops, take the non-stackable kill streaks. Throw the nuke in there. I don't care. Nukes didn't even bother me. Hardly anyone ever got them unless, you know, well, some of them are cheating. Not saying all of them are cheating. You get nuke boosters, but there's a way to prevent that. You know, the tac insertion, not allowing it in free-for-alls. Not allowing stackable. A simple way to prevent people from getting, you know, 6 million nukes and a chopper gunner all over the place is to stop it from being stackable. Make it so that you actually have to earn them. Get out there and get the kills. Then we wouldn't care. I wouldn't care about it. So you get the nuke or whatever it is, as long as it's non-stackable, it shouldn't be a problem. So anyway, I like the fact what I've seen. So far what I've seen in that video is meeting my expectations. We got the nice M4. We got the old style MP5. We got probable tanks with A10 tank buster. This is just, you know, I'm predicting this. I'm just putting it out there and predicting it. And more destructibility. I know it was already rumored, so it's not like I'm predicting the destructibility. But just from the video, if you see the level and what they're trying to emphasize with particle debris and everything like that. And then the last thing I want to talk about here is another thing I keep reading. And it seems there's more and more hypocrites out there. Because when I put a video out and I say, oh, well, the graphics aren't good, suddenly you guys are like ravenous wolves jumping at my throat going, graphics doesn't mean anything, man. If as long as it's fun, it's great, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden this video comes out and people are whining and moaning about, oh, well, the graphics look outdated. The engine looks outdated. You know what? I'll tell you right now, the engine, graphics aside, is absolutely fine. It is more than fine. The Infinity Ward engine from Call of Duty 4, including Modern Warfare 2, absolutely meets all of my expectations. I don't even care if they update it or anything like that. In terms of the graphics, stop being so hypocritical. Stop being so hypocrites. Especially when I put videos out, I say graphics, oh, look at the graphics. You're like, that don't matter. That don't matter. It's the gameplay. Well, you know what? As long as the gameplay, the engine is like, and the movement and the feel of it is just like Modern Warfare 2, who cares? And if the added features, if they fix the problems that were in Modern Warfare 2, you still got a hit. You still got a really good game going forward. And I think what we've seen so far, and of course it's all predictions, but coinciding with the leaks from Kotaku, I think we could have a very good game. And I'm looking forward to the holiday season. We got Battlefield 3, which is going to raise the bar, I think, in terms... Oh, I said I wasn't going to bring it up again, but I lied. Anyway, you got Battlefield 3 that's going to raise the bar and allow for a more in-depth experience. You know what I mean? Something really immersive. And then you've got Call of Duty bringing a solid addition to it. And I'm sorry if you're a big fan of Black Ops, but I am looking forward like a breath of fresh air to see Modern Warfare 3. Keep the engine as Modern Warfare 2, don't really care. Bring in these new features. Bring the old MP5 back. Awesome. That's just friggin' awesome. As far as I'm concerned, give me the MP5, some new maps. I'm happier than a pig and shit. Anyway, ooh, I swore. I think that's the analysis there. So I think we're going to see some interesting stuff. And again, I'm going to plug this again. I'm looking forward to survival mode. I know some of you zombie people you're like horrible. You're worse than fanboys. The same thing. You should want that survival mode. You should want Modern Warfare 3 to be better than the zombies. That's what it is about a gamer. When a new game comes out, you don't go, oh, that game's going to be crap. If you are a true fan of that franchise, you want that next game to be better. You should want it to be better. Why would you want it to be mediocre? Oh, it's garbage. And then you got to wait like, what, 3-4 years for another half decent, well, in Call of Duty, you got to wait 2 years. But you should want it to. Even if you don't think that it's going to be as good as zombies, you should want it to succeed. You should say, you know, hopefully it is good. I don't know if they're going to beat it, but hopefully it kicks ass. At least that's the way I look at it. But I try and stay optimistic. Anyway, you can see I'm getting all excited. I'm getting ready. Leave your comments, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Now we're going to be taking a look at some previously released information and actually cross-referencing the huge leak on Kotaku, which of course Activision has confirmed, although I know they say, you know, not all of it is true, although they don't tell you what isn't true. I'm suspecting, based on the reveal, the official reveal trailer, you know, looking at the information in there, looking at the weapons in there and the configurations, and then coinciding that with the actual leak, I think most of it, if not all of it, is actually true. They just didn't want to give it all away. Maybe a slight change on one particular thing, which is justifying them saying that. Nonetheless, let's get on to this. And I got to thank Tote in General, one of the subscribers of the Gun Shop, for pointing this out to me, because it was staring right at her face, but I didn't see anyone really talk about it, and some of you may have already noticed this as well. But it seems that the level of customization for weapons is really above and beyond what we've ever seen in this game, in the Call of Duty game. Now, we've seen bling where you can do 2 attachments. And this is something we're kind of acclimatized to and we're used to now, but I think they've gone above and beyond, and I don't know if this is going to coincide with the Call of Duty Elite, which is that online, which I suspect is a huge customization, sort of microtransaction type service, where we're going to be able to put, you know, change the way our characters look, or maybe even more customization of the weapons. But it seems that the weapon attachments have gone above and beyond. Now, we've gone with bling. We've seen bling before, which allows 2 attachments. Or what is it, Warlord? Maybe it's Warlord in Black Ops. Is it Warlord? I can't remember. Anyway, 2 attachments. Whatever they call it in Black Ops, don't really care. But you put the silencer on with a red dot, or a red dot and extended mags, but you get to choose 2. But if you look at the leak picture, there's 2 weapons, and actually I believe that they're both M4s, and you can even see this in the reveal trailer, and I can't remember at what point you see this, but if you watch it, it kind of confirms what we're seeing in the leak, in the major leak, and that is not just 2 attachments, but 3. There's an M4 with the grenade launcher on the side, a silencer on the barrel, and a red dot scope. 3 attachments. Now that's a lot. Now I don't know if some of you would find that to be sort of unbalanced, but I'm sure they're taking this consideration, and I'm not sure at all, but I would imagine that some of that, you know, configuration is likely going to be dribbling over to the Call of Duty Elite, so they can say, well, if you want 3, you're going to have to pay a little bit of money. And then there's another shot, which is a little bit different. Even if it's not 3 attachments, it's something a little bit unique, and that is dual scope. It's a dual visual. So one had the red dot, and then what looks to be, I don't know if it was thermal imaging or night vision or whatever, but you can see another electronic. It didn't look like an ACOG scope. It wasn't just a typical telescopic lens there. It looked like a red dot and some sort of, you know, and who knows, maybe you could do it. Maybe you could do red dot and switch over to ACOG. I think that's actually a very cool feature. Personally, I would like to see 2 different scopes on there. If you had thermal imaging on something, I would like to have thermal imaging and then, predominantly when I'm running and gunning, use the red dot. I think this is going to be some really cool customization that we're going to see on the weapons. That in conjunction with Call of Duty Elite, we may see an unprecedented amount of actual customization of both your character and the weapons itself. Do you personally think though, it's hard to say now because we haven't played it, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of issues. But do you see an issue with having 3 attachments on your weapons versus 2? We all like 2, you know what I mean? Everybody uses, a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people have experimented and enjoy using the 2 attachments. But having 3, do you think that's too much? Having a grenade launcher, red dot, and a silencer, is that too much power? I mean, people complain about certain weapons being overpowered, and now having 3 attachments, I mean, you're talking about beast mode engaged right there. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop. Well, apparently Envision has created an Android-powered console at home. I believe it's about $150 anyway. The article link to it is in the description below if you want to read it yourself. Really not much there. The stats on the console are kind of irrelevant. You're talking about Android mobile phone type games. I'm really curious to know how many of you out there would actually want to play, what was on your mobile phone at home when you likely have a 360, a Wii, or a PS3, especially if you're that into gaming. I think they're kind of missing the mark here and getting a little confused from their success in the mobile phone market, and then transferring and thinking, why don't we make a console? Completely different market. The success that these companies are experiencing is basically because it's on mobile devices. You don't run around with the 360 or the PS3. I mean, if I'm going to run around and I really want that kind of a gaming experience mobile, I'll probably look at the the Sony NGP or even the Nintendo 3DS. That's what I'm going to look at, not on the cell phone. The cell phone's just because it's quick, pick it up and you're amusing yourself for a little bit, and that's it. But coming to the console market and expecting the same results, I think is a little bit crazy. How many of you out there, if you are into gaming, would come home and turn on your Envision Android app cell phone games over your 360, your Wii, or your PS3? I'm guessing not too many. Well, here we go again, people. A new game, a new era of politicians and parents wanting to ban the game. But this time it's coming from Britain, and it looks like there's certain people that do not want Modern Warfare 3 released because the scenes in which, the Russian ultra-nationalists are attacking London are, eerily, that's what they say, eerily depicting and reflecting the terrorist attacks that they had. I think it was on their subway systems before. So they're saying that this game should not be allowed on it. It seems like no matter what game is made nowadays, even if it actually has nothing to do with the real event, is somehow correlated with something else and offends a certain group. Now, I don't know, again, there's got to be a line that we can draw in terms of even video games, but I just don't see this. I mean, it's a story, and yes, there's bad things that would happen throughout the history of any country or any city that we show in the world, and maybe you can make the correlation, but I just don't see it. It's nothing to do with that. It's not to do with, Muslim extremists or whatever, the Al-Qaeda or whatever attacking, whatever it is. It's a Russian ultranationalist taking in part. I mean, they allowed the other games. This is just a natural part of it. They had no problem going over there and killing innocent people in Modern Warfare 2. You didn't see them go up in arms there, and suddenly in the next game, natural, retaliation as they come back, and I know it's not the people, but you know what I mean? Like, suddenly the Soviet Union's attacking and people are getting all pissy. I think it's rather ridiculous. It's not depicting anything. It's not reflecting the terrorist attack, and these people need to just chill. You know what they need? They need a little bit of lithium in their water and just chill. That's what they need to do, for sure. Well, this is one of the craziest, when I said craziest stories that I've read in a while. And of course, all of these links to all of the stuff I talked about in this video are in the description below, so you can read them for yourself. But anyway, there's a controversial move, or a movement anyway, supported by, I don't even know who's supporting this. Maybe they're the doctors, psychologists, or whatever. But they're looking, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of it, but it's common practice to add fluoride into the water treatment just in general practice, and I'm not even exactly sure why they do that. Some of you may know that. I don't know if it's whether or not to keep the water clean or whatever for drinking water, or to help us general health. I don't know. I don't think there's any real general health other than it's good for your teeth at the dentist. But they're thinking about adding lithium. Now, lithium is an actual element, a metallic element, but it's actually, lithium is used, when I hear lithium, I think crazy people. I think the craziest people ever. You're talking about maniacs, schizophrenia, and major depression. When other, normal, conservative, or conventional, whatever type treatments don't work, like your general, I don't even know, I forget what the other types of treatment are, but they're very, very sort of conservative, you'd switch to lithium. Lithium is for your friggin' hardcore nut jobs, and I say that, and although if you have one of that diseases, then I apologize for saying that, but in general terms, it's when you've got real mental health issues. So they're thinking and considering about adding that as an additive and replacing fluoride in the drinking water system of the US. Now, this isn't official, this isn't going anywhere, this is just a movement where certain people are supporting it. And it's coming from the fact that there's certain communities in Japan where the natural levels of lithium in the water, in those communities, they've discovered that it's actually, the cases of major depression are significantly lower than all other parts in the country. So they're like, well, it's not, and they're not adding it, this is just the natural levels. So they're thinking, well, the natural levels, and this is what's resulting in these communities, we treat people with huge disabilities with lithium, and maybe if we add trace amounts, maybe it'll stabilize, the community. So you pour a glass of water from your tap, you're treating yourself mentally with lithium. Now, I don't think, I don't know, I don't see this actually passing. It just sounds absolutely insane. How would you like it? Think about it right now. If you're going to go upstairs or downstairs or wherever you are, pour yourself a glass of tap water and know that there's lithium in there, which is used to treat maniacs, schizophrenia, and major depression. And you're actually treating yourself with a dose every single time you take a drink. I really don't see that passing. But then again, fluoride, which is added to water in sort of larger quantities, can be lethal, is toxic. But we use it to clean or whatever. As I said, I'm not exactly sure, but look it up. Look up fluoride. In large quantities, it can be actually fatal to you. So maybe it's not that crazy that lithium would be added. Maybe it'll help sort of just keep everybody just chill, you know what I mean? Right off the tap water, having a bad day, have yourself some tap water and just chill, you know what I mean? Once again, the logic of the gun shop prevails, and Sony finally comes out and announces that yes, we are working on the next console, the PS4, or whatever we're going to end up calling it. This was not very hard to figure out. I mean, I've actually put out probably a total of 3 or 4 videos over the last few months talking about production of the PS4, talking about how it's likely they're going to have to release it, in the next couple of years, that they have no choice because of the gap in technology. If you've been a subscriber with me for a while, you've heard me say this. This isn't shocking to me. I'm not like, whoa, but it's kind of a nice little thing when the rest of you, the doubters, not saying all of you, just the doubters like, you don't know what you're talking about guns, and then finally Sony comes out and says, well, yeah, we are working on it, so whatever. And it's not like I'm, I have a crystal ball and can see these things. I just look at the market, I look at things that are going on, and I say, you know what, it seems logical that they're going to do this. If I was the owner of that business, and someone else was coming up with the Wii 2, and we hear rumors of Xbox, 720, I know it's not called that, but the next generation Xbox console, that they're working on it, and they're of course denying it, which is bullcrap. I'm telling you right now that Xbox is working on their next console. No matter what you hear out there, I can promise you that there will be. Again, it's the same reason that Sony has now officially confirmed that the we'll call it the PS4, although we don't know what it is, but the PS4 is indeed being developed right now. It's because, number one, there's a demand in technology. Developers are getting bored. I'm talking about the actual game developers. Whether the people, the purchasers, the consumers are ready for it or not, I know some of you are like, oh, they're still alive. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And when it comes out, despite all your procrastination and putting it down, you're going to buy one of them. You're going to buy either the Wii 2, the 720, or the PS4. You're just going to do it because we love our video games. And when we see the delicious technology and graphics and smooth gameplay and amazing immersive experiences, you just can't hold back. Now hopefully they're not going to be charging a $600 price tag on that as well when that comes out, because quite frankly I'm kind of a little tired of paying so much money for that. You know what, put in a really good processor, put in a really good new mechanism, maybe hopefully away from the optical drive, although I don't see them doing that because the Blu-ray is still able to hold 50 gigs and we're not probably there yet in terms of flash-based memory. Nonetheless, guarantee you that Xbox is already working on their next one. Sony saying that they're working on their PS4 is not shocking at all. It's just nice for them to actually finally come out here and say it, because it just seems logical to do so. So remember, look for these consoles. Definitely not, I mean, the Wii 2 maybe in 2012, but since Sony has officially announced that they're coming up with the PS4, it could very well be, and I'm not saying this for sure, but it could very well be at the end of 2012. Coming out and publicly saying you're working in development of it puts it and starts that timer right away. Because if Microsoft hasn't come out already, you can be guaranteed they're going to come out soon because the pressure's on them. And they're already well into development, don't kid yourself. They're making this right now. So the fact is that PS3 is actually in development. They're not going to wait. It's not going to be like 5 years from now. If they said they're working on it, expect it to come out either the end of 2012 or 2013 at the latest. I said it previously at 2014, but based on the official announcement, I'm putting it at 2013 at the latest. Holiday season 2013, expect to see the new consoles. Microsoft and PS4 or whatever, or Microsoft and Sony will release them. It will not take that much longer. So brace yourself. I'm looking forward to it, and I know some of you aren't. Such is life. That's the way it rolls. Apparently a 14-year-old teenage Irish hacker, boy or girl, doesn't really matter, it's a boy, but whatever. Hacker is the main thing. And he's actually the one responsible for alerting people of the Modern Warfare 2 phishing alert. You know, people were trying to fish for information, and he actually alerted them. I don't know if he actually did it on the screen, you know, where he can pop up a little message and everything like that. Nonetheless, Microsoft has decided, and I think this is very intelligent of companies like that, unlike Sony, and believe me, don't hate on me for saying that, because you know what, I'm a huge supporter. I love my PlayStation 3, but it seems like Microsoft has the right idea here. Find a kid that knows how to hack their system and go in there, who didn't steal anything, he didn't maliciously attack and exploit everyone's account. He was just able to hack through their security and actually alert people and say, hey, you know what, don't listen to these things. At least that's my understanding of it. Of course, all links to all these articles are in the description so you can read them for yourself, but it seems like the smart thing to do for Microsoft to say, you know what, this kid knows how to get in there, but he's got a good side to him. He's not yet gone to the dark side, so they're going to train him as a Jedi hacker and give him a job and develop him. I mean, the kid's got talent, which leads me to this. You know, how do we find these individuals? Do we allow them to say, hey, whoever can hack this has a job? Maybe they do that. Maybe they develop websites that are crazily encrypted and saying, you know what, if you find this answer, if you're able to get into this particular file or this part of our website, then we'll give you a job as a hacker. You know what I mean? Maybe they can do stuff like that. Because how do you test for these kids, and not just kids, but young adults that basically have the capabilities, that are incredibly intelligent, no programming beyond what they teach you in school, because they don't certainly teach you hacking in school. A lot of these things are sort of self-taught. So maybe, you know, maybe this is a smart way to do it. You find these individuals who do helpful things and give them jobs. Because if you don't, chances are they're going to get disgruntled, they're going to turn around, flip, and if you smack them on their hand like Sony does, they're going to come back full force and they're going to be biting. Anyway, that's it. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. One last thing, you'll notice that this format was completely different from all the other ones. Normally I would do, you know, 4 to 5 separate individual videos, whereas this was just one long one. So I'm thinking about changing the format so you only get one video a day with all the news in it, rather than spamming your inbox. So if you like this format, if you prefer to have one video a day instead of several, and I'll try and release it at the same time every single day so that you know exactly when the video is coming out, please like and favorite this video so that I know. That is a good indication for me. I'm not giving away anything for this, but like and favorite it so I know that this is something, a format that you want. I need to know if this is the way to go, or if you prefer to have it separate videos so that you can pick and choose which ones you actually want to watch. Anyway, that's it. Remember, rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Gun Shop Evening Edition. I've decided to split up the news into two different times of the day rather than doing sporadic ones. We're going to try this for a while, see how it works, and if not, then we can always go back to several individual videos. Anyway, nonetheless, if you're a user of Internet Explorer, Microsoft's web browser, any version of this, you may want to think about switching to Firefox or Chrome. Apparently, there's an exploit called cookie jacking, and these hackers can use this to obtain your username and password for major websites, Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, and the article, of course, all these links to everything that I'm talking about are in the description below if you want to read them yourself. But basically, the hacker or one of the individuals says that it can be used for any website. So if you are currently using it, until they fix this or we hear otherwise from Microsoft, some sort of response from them, I would highly recommend that you switch to Firefox or Chrome at this point until it's fixed. I know even if you're not a big fan of it, it's a heck of a lot better than these people, and we know that for whatever reason, hacking is on the upswing right now, and lots of places, you know, a lot of companies are getting hijacked here, and they really don't care about you. It's not even the big companies, it's all about exploiting us, you and me, the consumer. So if this is the case, I would definitely stop using your Internet Explorer web browser and switch to something else immediately. Well, apparently China is using World of Warcraft to exploit its prisoners. There's an article, of course, again, link is in the description, but they're talking about basically up to 300 different prisoners in China are forced to play about 12 hours of World of Warcraft doing gold farming. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's actually a viable business around the world where these people go in and farm virtual gold and then sell it for real money. Now, the article goes in there and it discussed that these individuals, like the bosses, the prison guard bosses and the guards, I'm not even sure it's the prison. It's not necessarily that the prison is generating money, because you could kind of maybe understand that it would do that. Heck, if I was a prisoner, I'd much rather play World of Warcraft and do some gold farming than to go out and do some physical labor or, you know, doing hacking into rocks or whatever the case may be. I think it's a little bit easier. But I think it's just the guards doing some little cash on the side and forcing these people and punishing them if they don't farm enough gold. Now, apparently they're pulling in upwards, you know, anywhere from 480 upwards of 570 pounds per day. That's about 980 or around just over 900, basically close to $1,000 US per day from gold farming. So I think they got a good racket going there. Whether it's ethical or not, I don't know. But you know what, the bottom line is, these prisoners, and I'm looking at prisoners, and maybe some aren't really there legitimately, let's just say, but for the most part, you're talking about murderers, rapists, thieves, and all these other degenerates of society, and you're thinking, oh, well, this is just wrong. You're forcing them to play a video game. My God, what? Forcing them to play World of Warcraft? Give me a break. Who cares? Make them farm. At least they can get some money there. I mean, the guards' lives are at risk, and what are they doing? They're forcing them to play a video game for 12 hours. Whoop-de-toot. You should have thought about that before you took an axe and hacked up that family. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Farm the gold. I don't really care. Well, if you haven't seen it already, I'll put a link on the screen or in the description if you want to see it there. But EA has released an exclusive on their sort of TV series, or their video series rather, called Pwned, and it's a 17+ minute long video looking at DICE's upcoming Battlefield 3. And I gotta say, you know, we're starting to get flooded by Modern Warfare 3 stuff, but don't let that distract you from possibly one of the greatest first-person shooter games coming out this fall, or ever at this point here. They go really, really in-depth about the Frostbite 2 engine. They talk about the Return to Karkand map pack. I think is it Karkand? I think that's how you say it. I always thought it was Karkland. But anyway, I think it's Return to Karkand and how they've improved it, and you just take a look at it. And it's not just about the graphics. Like, I mean, honestly, when I watch this video, everything I've seen from them so far, I keep thinking, wow, like, I can't wait to get my hands on that, to feel like I'm in that battle. But it's also like, as you know as well as I do as a gamer, it's not just about how pretty it looks. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. It does look beautiful. I mean, it sounds beautiful. The audio, the lighting in it, the particles, the destructibility of the environments looks phenomenal. but it's really the gameplay. It comes down to the gameplay, and I gotta say, even the gameplay, like when you're looking at it, it looks tight. Yes, it's not that, you know, that Call of Duty feel, but they don't want it. They want that immersive experience. They want to stay true to the Battlefield feel, and I think they've done. I think they've tightened it a little bit. They've made it, even the movement seem a little bit more realistic, not as maybe sloppy or input lag. At least that's what I'm noticing when I'm watching the videos there. Not harping or saying that the previous version, like Battlefield Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 2, was like a horrible movement. It just takes a little bit more adjustment for a gamer like myself, who's, you know, always been, I know, a Call of Duty player, but nonetheless, I'm dying to get my hands on this. And I like to see, even just watching it, I know it's all going to come down to when we actually get our hands on it, but if you look at the videos from Battlefield Bad Company 2 and then like gameplay, and you look at Battlefield 3 and you look at them side by side, there is a distinct difference. It's like a tightening. It's still there, that immersive feeling and that realistic sort of jogging movement, but it's been honed. It's been tightened a little bit. And I think this game is going to blow our minds. I think when we get a hold of it, you know, Modern Warfare 3, I'm still going to play it. It's going to be fun, but I think this game is going to be the one that's going to be our new crack. It's the new gamer's crack. So definitely check that out. And it's 17 minutes, but it's very entertaining. You got to check it out. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm excited for this. This is the one part of Modern Warfare 3 that I am anticipating the most. I really can't wait to get a hold of this, but the particular article, now USA Today, for whatever reason or however they got it, I wish I was there, but they got a hold of this and they were able to play the survival mode, which is the mode that I'm most interested in with respect to Modern Warfare 3 coming out this fall. And they talk about, you know, wave after wave, and he was saying, you know what, this is by far my favorite mode. Even when he played it, he said that like the interviewer, whoever it was that did it, I don't remember the name, irrelevant. But he played it and he said it was awesome. They got to wave 8, there was regular soldiers, and then it keeps on building in intensity. Dogs, and then explosive dogs like kamikaze dogs, and of course our favorite from Modern Warfare 2, I don't know if you ever played Spec Ops, but I'll tell you, as soon as that drum pounding or whatever it was and you knew a juggernaut was coming, you'd be like, oh crap, juggernauts were so beast, and they would just freaking come at you. They were so hard to kill, and they're in the actual, it's not surprising. People are like, oh, I hope Juggernaut's not in there. Of course you want Juggernauts in there. It's like a boss character. You don't want it just to be repetitious and same wave after wave after wave. I want it, you know, I know some of you are, and all of us, including myself, are going to compare it to zombies. And zombies is more or less the same wave after wave after wave that's coming, and they get harder to kill, and there's more of them, and I'm not taking away from that because I love zombies as well. But it's nice to see something a little bit different, and you want that challenge in there. To throw a Juggernaut in there is like, I don't know if they're mixed with other soldiers, because if that's the case, that's absolutely insane. Juggernauts, for those of you that have not played Modern Warfare 2, are beasts. They are insanely difficult to take down. So it's going to be really interesting. I love it. I hope they actually even have that drum in there again. So, you know, when a round starts and all of a sudden a Juggernaut comes, it's like, boom. And then you're just like, oh crap, here comes boss time, boss time. So anyway, that's what it's going on here. Now, the one question that I'm curious about, and this is a big thing for me though. This really, you know, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the concept of survival mode in Modern Warfare 3. But there's one thing that's, for me, I think that's really going to sort of dictate whether or not it's going to be on the level and be able to really stand up against zombies. And that is whether you're going to be restricted to like a very confined area like it did in the first Spec Ops. Because if you played Spec Ops, and I can't remember which one it was the very first mission, you were basically confined to an upper area. There was ladders on the other side. You put, you know, claymores down. You used your Predator or whatever it was. I can't remember. I think it was a Predator missile. You know, sniper rifles and everything. You had all the weapons at your disposal in this very confined area. And then the waves of enemies just kept on coming and coming. So what I'm concerned about is that it's going to be the same thing. I want to be able to move a little bit. I'm not talking about, you know, necessarily the exact same as zombies where you can actually open up all on these unlocked areas and keep moving around and around and around, because the problem is the article doesn't talk about that, and for me, honestly, that's a huge part. I do not want to be confined to one area. Sure, it'll be fun for a while, but I can see myself getting bored with it if that's going to be the case. So I do want some movement within the maps. I want to be able to, even if it's not huge, even if it's not like around a giant map like you do get in zombies, like Kino der Toten, you know, if something like that, or whatever, any of the maps for that matter in zombies, where you have that flexibility there. I'd like to be able to see multiple areas where you can actually set up when you have your buddy there. Although I did read in the article that it's still only 2 players. Not, it's not zombies or anything like that, but for the most part, it's usually yourself or you and a buddy that plays it. I mean, that's a lot of times, like when Spiderbite, Meatwagon, myself, and Bentley do challenges, it's usually 2 of us. It's usually Bentley and myself trying to set a speed record, or Spiderbite and Meatwagon trying to set a speed record. So the fact that it's limited to only 2 people in the cooperative mode for survival, I'm not concerned about. I mean, maybe they find it unnecessary. If you look at almost all the records, you look at any record in zombies, it's always 2 players. It's almost never 1 player. It'll be 1 player once in a while, but it's either 1 or 2. All the top records, never 4 players. And it's actually easier to control that way. Anyway, I was looking over there because my cat came up and I was like, ooh, what's going on? Freaked me out a little bit. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the evening news of the gun shop. Remember, I'm going to be switching this to basically, I'm going to be trying like 2 videos a day. So 1 at 12, and don't stick to this because I'll try and get it out exactly on that time. 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and then again at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the evening. So I can catch sort of those stories as they develop throughout the day. Any breaking news though, like if it's a breaking news story, I'm not going to wait till that time. So those will sort of be interspersed in there. So if something happens and boom, it's like really big and everyone wants to know about it, and believe me, I'm usually aware of what those stories are, then I will get that video out. I'll do a separate video on it. And, the odd time if it's a special, if it's a big release, if it's a big launch, then I'll do it, cover it separately as a video. But for the general news throughout the day, we're looking at about 2. So 1 at noon and then 1 at 5 p.m. and it'll cover several stories. Anyway, that's it. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the gun shop. Now obviously you can see I have a new layout. I'm trying a lot of new things here. Hopefully we'll find something that's effective and is going to allow me to not only do the news but get back to gameplay as well, because if any of you are sort of fans of NGT, you know that I've cut down a lot on doing gameplay, and it's because I've been concentrating a lot on this. This is not only going to allow me to get the news out, and of course, as some of you have commented before, in breaking news, anytime there's breaking news like big news, of course I will cover it separately, but just for general news throughout the day, I'm going to be sort of refining it to 1, maximum 2 episodes per day, and it looks like I'm going to be launching the main one at around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday anyway, and the weekends I'm going to reserve for gameplay. Of course, unless there's breaking news. That's on the side, you'll notice that there's actually the different topics, the news stories. You can actually click on any of them and it'll take you to that particular part in the video. So now instead of having to watch the entire thing, simply click on the side and then you'll be able to watch whatever news story it is that you're interested in. So I know I'm taking a lot of your feedback. I'm trying to get it right here. I know some of you want separate videos, and we may very well go back to that. But this format allows me to go back to what I used to do, which is gameplay videos on first-person shooters. Anyway, nonetheless, in the news, some of you may have read this already, and I apologize for how old this is, but I was working on the format and the template. But apparently, a live gameplay demonstration in London, England, actually showed that the destruction, you know, the rumors about everything being able to destroy buildings and stuff, kind of like what they have in Battlefield 3, which is when you shoot things, if you've ever played like even Battlefield Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 2, there's a lot of destructibility. You can destroy the environment, collapse buildings, and there was rumors that Modern Warfare 3 was going to be doing the same thing, but what they've said was, and I'll give, of course, the links to all of these articles are in the description, but what they said from this live gameplay demonstration is that all the destruction is scripted. There is no destructibility. They're saying it's the typical same old, and not that there's anything really wrong with it. It would have just been kind of nice to see something a little bit different flavor in Call of Duty, but it looks like they're not. So, you know when you shoot a surface, and then there's a change in texture. So you see a little bit of discoloration and maybe a change in texture, but there's no actual destruction of the environment, which is a little bit disappointing, but nonetheless, that's what it seems to be at this point here, is there's no destructibility, simply all scripted. However, that being said, it was campaign mode and not multiplayer, though I'm assuming that if they can't even put it in campaign mode, that likely they're not going to actually have it in in the multiplayer as well, if that dynamic isn't there. So it's a little bit disappointing, but nonetheless, there you go. No destructibility based on this information from the live gameplay demonstration in London, UK. Well, this is kind of good news, and we've been actually, Spiderbite from my business partner or whatever from Next Gen Tactics, we've been looking at this and curious about doing this ourselves. But YouTube has officially announced that they're doing, 3D. They've had this out for a while, but they've sort of come out and, announced everything, saying, hey, we're going 3D now. Now you can record in 3D, and those 3D cameras, of course. I was thinking about doing something like that, but the bottom line is that the technology, although if you've heard me before, I'm very excited for the technology of 3D, but we're not quite there yet where it's massively distributed, where everybody more or less has a 3D TV. Although the prices of 3D TVs have come down considerably, when you're getting a new LCD TV, chances are it's going to have 3D capabilities. Now, there's a lot of progress that we need to make in terms of 3D. Number one, we do need to lose those glasses. We have the technology. We see it in the 3DS. I believe that Sharp and Toshiba have a glasses-free TV already. Granted, I think the largest size that they have is 32 inches. Although I heard a rumor that one of the largest glasses-free TV is something like 52 inches, but it's, I forget what the price was, like $13,000 for it. So again, still out of reach for the common consumer. Too expensive, so I don't see that, many people are going to take advantage of it. The easiest way to see it, if you're just watching it on your PC, is through anaglyph, which is the old school style, the red and blue, paper little glasses. Although you can get, as you can see in the little pic that I have, you can use sort of more modern versions, but the problem is it discolors. When you use that style, yes, you have actually more depth. That old school anaglyph versus the new technology, which is stereoscopic 3D, actually offers more depth in the old versions, but you'll lose the clarity, you'll lose, you lose coloration because you're looking through tinted glasses. And while the depth and the perception and the visuals, the 3D effect is a lot better in the anaglyph, you'll lose a lot, you compensate a lot, and we're all about, visualization. So the 3D effect is cool, but we want true colors, and that's where stereoscopic comes in. The problem is that they don't have near the depth. It's something like seven layers of depth that they use in stereoscopic, and anaglyph is something around 20 plus layers, which means like 20 different layers of depth. So it makes it seem more realistic. Now, we're not quite there yet, and that's why I think that maybe 3D is going to keep going. Whether you like it or not, it will keep going. We've made a lot of progression on this, but it still needs to go further. We need to have that depth in there. We need to have TVs that show sort of that amazing capability, and we need to get rid of the glasses. Nonetheless, YouTube does offer it. If you're interested in doing it, you'd have to actually hook it up from your PC to your 3D TV, whether it's passive or active, it doesn't really matter, but nonetheless, that's the way it is. So it kind of seems like a little bit of a waste. Neat little gimmick, but ultimately I don't see too many of us using it. Sony's come out with a new headset, an exclusive PS3 headset, and it is a wireless stereo headset capable also of 7.1 virtual surround sound. So that's an important aspect there. When people read 7.1 surround sound, they tend to forget that little virtual part. And it's rather important, but here's the bottom line. If you can get it, and the price of them are brilliant. I mean, the design, they look solid. Wireless headsets are absolutely great. Number one, because many of the issues that go wrong with headsets that you may get, whether they're Turtle Beaches, and I'll disclose right now, I have Turtle Beach PX21s upstairs, I have Astro A40s, and I've had Triton AX Pros. So I've had some of the top of the line headsets, and I could go on to a different topic and actually do a review on them, but usually a lot of times the problem with these headsets, especially with the ones that I've used, is all of the wire leads. All of the wires, that's what usually causes the problems, the removable pieces. It's the wires that break and suddenly you start losing sound because, you know what, they're fidgety when you're constantly plugging them or taking them out. Like for myself, because I have different headsets, that movement and that constant interchangeability causes problems and it wears them down. But when you have wireless, like with the Sony new wireless stereo headset, and they look solid, I mean, it looks like a great headset. The bottom line is, if you can afford something, you should always upgrade. If you love video gaming, if you're really into it and you really want sort of an improved experience when you're gaming, I absolutely 100% recommend getting the best headset that you can afford. Now, don't go out there and break the bank because, Astro A40s cost you, $200 what is it, 250 or 240 with the mix amp and everything like that. So they are expensive. These are $99 stereo with 7.1 virtual, and I want to talk about that as well. The virtual surround sound is a lot better. I mean, it's better than just having stereo because it's trying to synthesize a surround sound system. But you will never, this is an important thing, okay? If you get 5.1 surround sound or 7.1 true surround sound, is a drastic difference in the sound quality versus having virtual surround. And here's the difference. In a stereo headset, you have two speakers, one on each side. And then what happens is they use that technology to sort of simulate and alter the softness from each side, kind of like what it does for stereo. You know what I mean? If you hear a gunshot over there, it's stronger on this side of the ear versus this side, so you know to look that way, and it improves the experience. The 7.1 virtual surround sound goes a step further using technology to sort of try and simulate as best as possible where sounds are coming from. But when you only have two speakers, it's near impossible to, like, if your head was perfectly still and there was a gunfire that way, sort of forward and to the right versus to the back and right, there's no way that one speaker, the sound in one speaker only comes out at one direction. They use sort of digital, you know, equalizer and the other side to sort of make it seem like it's actually coming from either side, but it's never pinpoint. You'll never get the same. In a true surround sound system, like when I have my Triton AX Pros, there's actually 4 speakers on each side, 4 of them. Center, front, rear, and then bass, and then same on the other side. So 8 speakers altogether. You cannot beat that technology there, the true essence of surround sound. When I'm playing a game and I had the Triton AX Pros on, you would hear precisely, I could pinpoint where people were. Pinpoint, just by staying perfectly still, you could hear them 360 degrees around them, and that's because of the number of speakers. When you have stereos, virtual surround, you only have the one speaker. The sound can only come out in one direction. It can't project sound from a little speaker forward or rear. It just uses sort of, I guess, trickery to let you think that you know where it's coming from. And the bottom line is, though, it's better than nothing. And I'm not saying that these are horrible headsets, because they look actually half decent. And the fact that they're wireless is brilliant. I highly recommend wireless. And if it's meant to sync with your actual PS3, brilliant. I would definitely recommend this. And maybe when they come out, I think they come out in August or September. When they do, I'll get a pair and I'll do a review on them. And maybe give them away after that as well. I think that'd be kind of good. Since I already have Astro A40s and Triton AX Pros, I probably don't need the wireless Sony stereo headset. So it only makes sense for me to give them away. Another story for Modern Warfare 3, and that is the co-op mode. Now we know there's Spec Ops, we know that there's single player campaign and the multiplayer, and we know there's survival mode. At least from the leaked information, it looks like there's 2 sort of segments of the co-op mode. But what I'm talking about here is the rumors, previous rumors that there was going to be, and I think it's more hopeful rumors, because we always want that in the game. Almost every release, I've always heard people saying, hey, is it going to have this? Hey, is it going to have... And what I'm talking about is co-op campaign mode. I think it would be absolutely brilliant if we had that. And that is going through a campaign with you and a buddy, or you and up to, like, zombies, up to 4 buddies. I think when we get to a campaign mode, I don't care who makes it, I think that would be a brilliant experience, especially when I'm talking about as either Battlefield or Modern or Call of Duty series. Going through that campaign mode, they're having the option to do that. I know it's a lot more complex, but even just having someone like that, I mean, you don't always need to have multiplayer. Sometimes it's nice to have a little variety, and the ability to go through something with a buddy and go through it again, even though it was campaign and you know the storyline, changes the dynamics. It changes how it feels, it changes the experience, so just allowing that. But the bottom line is that the rumors have been squashed. There is no, and I think it was Robert Bowling on a Twitter, he tweeted that there was no co-op mode in single player, which is a little disappointing, but still not shocking, because I don't even really know too many. I don't think any Call of Duty has. It would be really, really cool if they did. Same thing with Battlefield, Bad Company, or any of those sort of really big blockbuster games, to have that co-op mode in single player. I think it would be a real great additive. Maybe Treyarch will do it in Black Ops. Maybe they'll hear us if we scream loud enough and say, put the damn co-op mode in a single player campaign. I think that would, well, it wouldn't be single player anymore, would it? The campaign mode, the story mode, I think that would be awesome, but the bottom line is it's not going to be happening in Modern Warfare 3. It's been squashed. The only co-op mode there is Spec Ops and Survival Mode, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to. I know it's saying it every time, but I'm a little iffy, though, still on the co-op mode for Survival. If you're confined to one spot, it's going to be fun playing through it a few times, but other than that, it's not going to have the same oomph. It's not going to have the same impact as Zombies does in Black Ops and World at War. You know what I mean? I just hope that they see this, and I hope that they understand what makes Zombies fun, because if they can't nail that, then we're in a lot of trouble. And the last story of the day is a crazy new sort of thrill attraction here actually in Ontario, Toronto, the CN Tower. It used to be the tallest freestanding structure in the world. I forget, it's like second or third now. Nonetheless, the attraction, and you can see by the pic, it's not exactly for everyone. It's basically, 116 stories up, which is 356 meters, or over 1,000 feet off the ground. Now, what's really cool about this is that Spiderbite and myself are considering doing it. Tickets go on sale in, I believe, June or July, and then the attraction opens up officially in August. And they videotape the entire thing. So if we get to do it, we'll actually have a video of it and we can upload it here. So I think that'd be really, really cool. If you guys would like to see that, you know, put it in the comments below. But I think it'll be exciting, because I even look at it and I'm like, whoa, man. Like, it gives me the jitters thinking that, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put it on YouTube. And when I say something like that, I've got to commit to it. So nonetheless, that's what it is. It's basically 150 meters on the outside at the very top of the actual main dome. So if you look at the CN Tower, if you look at images of the CN Tower, you'll see the main dome. And they've got like a restaurant in there, an observation deck, but this is on top of everything. This is extremely high up, and what you'll notice, and I don't know if you can see it in the picture, is that they basically have a harness system. So you're harnessed in with a tether going up to a rail system at the top. Other than that, there is absolutely nothing to hold on to. There's no fence behind them, there's no railing that they can hold on to. They're basically just tethered from the back up to this top railing system, and they have to basically go around the outside of the entire CN Tower, 150 meters, while 1,000 feet up, and you can actually even lean over the top and look straight down. Nothing but air between you and the bottom there. The ledge itself is about 3 feet wide. I think it's about, or no, it might be a little bit more than that, about 4 feet, 3 or 4 feet around there, that you have to shimmy around the outside all the while. And I'm totally doing it. It's kind of like a roller coaster. When you're going down, some people hold on for dear life. I'm the guy putting my hands up and friggin' just letting go, because that's part of the excitement. So if they allow, and they actually encourage it for those that are, you know, sort of thrill seekers, you can actually lean out, just lean straight out as much as you can, leaning right over top, like from the ledge, feet planted back, and leaning out, having that harness hold on. That harness snaps, boom, you are done. Splat, jam. I'd be jam at the bottom there. Probably kill someone if I landed on them as well. But anyway, that's the new thrill ride. It's $175 to do it. A little bit pricey, but then again, where else do you get to do something like that? That is absolutely insane. I'm so excited to do it. If you'd like to see it on YouTube, then just leave a comment below, and I've convinced Spiderbite to do it with myself as well, so that should be really cool. Anyway, that's it. That's a new format. Hopefully you guys can get used to it, give me some feedback on it. I know some of you want separate videos, but for now, this is the easiest way for me to get the news out. Remember, breaking news will be separate. I'll be able to put those videos out when it's really big and important news. I'll put those videos out completely separate, or some sort of big topic that I really want to discuss, and I need to take 10 minutes or so to discuss it. Nonetheless, leave your comments below, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the gun shop. Well, apparently rumors are swirling about, and I have personally been on their website as well, but this was like a few weeks ago, and I noticed that there was quite a few job postings there, but recently, which they've changed, and I think under the pressure of Activision, because people were noticing it, people were writing articles, like the one in the description if you want to click that and read about that. But basically, they're saying that Sledgehammer is more or less in over their head, that perhaps they're a little bit exhausted by the schedule and the pressure that Activision places on its developers to get the Call of Duty out, and to get it out right on the mark, right at November, as it always does. even in the case of Black Ops, when it shouldn't have been released right on that date, it should have been tested and further perfected because it was ready more or less for the Xbox 360, but absolutely not even remotely close to being ready for the PS3, the PC, or the Wii in that case for Black Ops. So, you know, and it just seems like delays aren't the thing that Activision wants to do. What they'd rather do is push a product out that's absolutely not ready and then just deal with it, because after all, it's all about money, and seemingly in that case there, it's like they didn't even care what product they gave to the fans. You know, they're like, oh, we got record sales and everything like that. But I think that those effects accumulate over time. And what I'm concerned about here is if Sledgehammer Games is indeed sort of getting tired, and the reason why I say that is just a few days ago, or even maybe it was a week ago, their homepage, their website, looked like a giant ad campaign for job postings. It wasn't even like, hey, we're making this game or anything. It was like, hey, work for us, look at these jobs, we got these jobs. And they were really pushing it. And even at the GDC, I believe it was the GDC, they were heavily promoting job postings. You know what I mean? They were trying to get people there. And in an act like that, that seems almost quasi-desperate to get people to work there, can kind of tell you that they're under a lot of pressure and that they're worried that they're not going to meet the deadlines. My worry is this: Activision will push that product out, ready or not. Are we going to repeat the same thing that we saw with Black Ops? Are we going to get a game that is not ready to be released, but it's going to be released anyway because they don't really give a crap, and they'll just patch the crap out of it? Are we going to see it, you know, made perfectly for the Xbox 360 and then crap port for PC and PS3? And likely it's not going to be for the Wii. By the way, I covered that before. It's just rumors, and all the information and what Infinity Ward has traditionally done is not made it for the Wii. The Call of Duty 4 actually was ported by Treyarch, for those of you that don't know. They don't even have Modern Warfare 2 yet. So who knows? Maybe you'll get Modern Warfare 2 on the Wii when the Modern Warfare 3 comes out. Kind of a rip-off, if you ask me, but nonetheless, that's the way it is. So it seems that Sledgehammer's feeling a bit of pressure. Maybe they're just, you know, it's the normal, hey, you know, we lost some employees. Just like any corporation, like any company, you'll lose employees, you have to gain employees. But the fact that they made their main homepage almost like a giant job posting thing seems, or hints to a bit of desperation there. And I'm concerned that if they're not ready, that they're going to just plop the video into the public right on November as per scheduled and not delay it. I would much rather see it delayed. I think it would speak volumes to the quality and the commitment that Activision and its, you know, companies, its developers have to the actual Call of Duty series rather than to the almighty dollar. Because if they push another product out and we get another release like we did with Black Ops, where it was just disastrous on all other platforms and, you know, working best on the 360, I think that's going to actually hurt it a lot and give DICE Battlefield 3 a tremendous boost as the FPS leader, future leader. So I don't think they can afford to do that. But the question is, will Activision push it even if it's not ready? The other aspect too is that because of the PlayStation Network being down for so long, there's speculation that the release for the PS3 version may be delayed nonetheless. But here's my thing. Activision doesn't delay it. They didn't give a crap that Black Ops wasn't ready to be released on the PS3. Why would they be concerned whether or not, you know, there was a month down, oh, we couldn't test it on the PS3. Well, it didn't seem like you tested Black Ops on the PS3, so what are you going to care about the Modern Warfare 3? The thing is, they need to. This time around with Modern Warfare 3, if we got back-to-back Call of Duty titles that absolutely epically fail on launch date, that's going to hurt the series a lot, and then we're basically going to know, well, not that we don't already, but it's going to speak volumes to the entire gaming community that, you know, we don't even give a crap about the quality of our game. We're just going to pump it out, we're going to take your money, and you're going to buy it anyway. And I hope that they don't do that. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing Battlefield 3, but I also love my Call of Duty, and I want to make sure that that series, both series, continue into the future. I want to be able to play either or. I don't want either or snuffing the other out. But if Activision fails to hit this mark, if they fail to realize that if it's not ready, they need to delay it, then, you know, you may see a huge hit on the Call of Duty gaming market. And while it may not impact it right away and not this year, for the years to come, you'll see a steady decline. And that's the unfortunate reality. And hopefully we're not going to get there, though. So hopefully Sledgehammer finds some people. Hopefully we get the game that we need to come out in November, and it's not going to be a crappy port, because that would not be good, my friends. Jetpacks, things of the future. We always see movies with that. Killzone 3, you know, you get the fighter jetpacks. It always looks really cool. It always looks, you know, something fun. You see Iron Man, although Iron Man is like, you know, superhero with an amazing suit. But a while ago, Glenn Martin, and I think it was it 2007? I can't really remember. I'm sure you can find it. But he created the very first jetpack, and it was kind of a success, more of a failure. It could only hover off the ground for like 3 or 4 feet and, you know, keep them going. It was still pretty big. It's not that it's gotten any smaller, but there's a huge change in terms of what it's capable of doing. And I'm going to give you, if you look in the description, of course, the link to this video is in there and you can watch it for yourself. But the new jetpack, the improved jetpack, is capable of going to thousands of feet. I personally think it's very, very cool. I don't know how expensive that thing's going to be, but they also just tested a new parachute system so that if the jetpack failed, because believe me, if this thing has not got wings, it's not like even a helicopter. A helicopter can actually what's called auto gyrate. So if the blade, and maybe some of you don't know that, but if a helicopter engine dies, you'd think it would just drop like a rock. And it kind of does, but it's able to actually twist the blades on the rotor and what's called auto gyrate. So as it's falling, it creates this oppositional force, and it actually will help slow it down as it's descending. The other thing is with the jetpack, there is no auto gyrates. There's no wings, fixed wings like an airplane to glide or at least help it glide. You just drop like a rock. So obviously safety is paramount, but the parachute does work. I'm curious about the altitude though, and the price. I want to know what the price is, because I mean, obviously, you know, they're talking about using it for search and rescue, but if it's so ridiculously expensive, you know, even facilities like firefighters and stuff like that, and forest fires, they're not going to use something like this. They're saying, oh, well, you'll be able to use it where you can't use helicopters, which I don't really know how you would put a human being unprotected going into that environment. It's not something that I'd want to do myself. Nonetheless, there probably is some sort of applications. What I'd like to also see with this jetpack though, and it's just basically showing him hovering, and if you watch the video, he can sort of move around and, you know, and fly and move slowly this way, but to be able to go from, you know, a vertical standpoint to more of a horizontal and really go like, you know, Iron Man basically, that would be cool. I know that's not sort of more applications for search and rescue and all that other boring stuff, but cool recreational, yes. Dangerous, yes. A lot of people flying in the air at really high speeds, dangerous. Probably not a good thing, but I definitely love to try it out myself, particularly if that parachute system works though. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of the portable consoles or the handheld gaming systems. We've got 2 Wii's here. We got the Sony PSP. I say Wii because I share it with my kids as well. But, you know, we had the Game Boy Advance. We had 2 Nintendo DS's, 1 DSi. We don't have the 3DS, but we also have the Sony PSP as well, which I'm not a huge fan. I have to say the Sony PSP really did disappoint me in terms of the analog control. I hated that thumb analog control on it. Plus, we use the UMD discs, which is a pain in the butt. The kids broke, you know, the mechanisms on there all the time. I find that disc-based even consoles, I don't like it. More mechanical parts in it, the more likely they are to actual break and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to the new Sony NGP, which is rumored to be called the PS Vita. Vita. I don't, you know, it sounds like if you say PS Vita, it almost sounds like you're saying pita. It's a sandwich, you know, a pocket, and you stuff your lettuce and stuff in it. Stuff it in there. Anyway, it's called a PS Vita. At least it's a brochure that someone caught, and it's a leaked information, and it says PS Vita. Personally, you know, some of the article that's linked in the description says, oh no, I really like it, it's a refreshing change. I don't like the name at all. PS Vita? It just doesn't sound like a gaming system, you know. For whatever, I don't know. There's something about it. Maybe I'm off. Maybe do you guys actually like that name, PS Vita for the NGP? I'd rather even just keep it as NGP. It sounds a lot better. But nonetheless, the rumor is that it's going to be called PS Vita. I know it's really different, and maybe we just got to get used to it. But the bottom line is, I absolutely 100% will get a hold of one of these systems because it is exactly the way that I wanted a portable system. It looks slick, and I know some of you are haters of the iPhone, but it reminds me of the iPhone. It reminds me of my iPhone, the 4 version. Just that slick, sort of condensed, nice rugged looking design on it. And I think with the dual analogs, I think it's going to be in beast mode. Now, I mean, the rumor of that the power in there is going to be significant, and it was sort of equivalent of a PS3, but in a handheld. So, I mean, and you don't need the same power as a PS3 because you're not running it on 1080p on a 3250 or 60-inch TV. So, but it's saying that equivalent for the handheld that the power is going to be there. Nonetheless, I don't like the name a PS Vita. I don't know, I think they just could have come up with something a little bit different. You know, I don't know. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I don't like it. How do you feel about it? Do you think that's good? Does it make you want to eat a pita? Because personally, it makes me want to have a sandwich. Well, there's a lot of you that have sent me messages, private messages on YouTube, and I've come across these links myself, but a Modern Warfare 3 perks list, full list, all tiers, you know, perk 1, perk 2, perk 3, everything describing everything and how they work and everything like that, and you're all excited and it's like, whoa, it's a really big leak. The leak is a rumor. None of those are true. That's actually from, and the article that I have in the description does point to the fact that it was one of the original people reporting on the actual perk list being leaked and then later updating it saying, you know, we apologize, actually the list is not legitimate at all. It's actually a fan-based list saying, you know, this is what I'd really like, these are the perks that we'd really like. And it was just so detailed that everyone just assumed that it was a leak and they started spreading it everywhere. That's why you gotta be really, really careful when you spread information. Even like anything that I talk about on the show, a lot of it comes from articles, and sometimes those articles are wrong and I have to update. And usually when that happens, I will update it. I'll let you know, when I have false information, of course, because I don't want to be spreading stuff. But the information, it's not like I'm lying to you. I'm simply gathering this information and bringing it to you. So when I find out that it's false, I also like to bring that information to you. So that perk list is simply fan-based. It is absolutely not the perks that will be in the actual game itself. We still don't know that, but sit tight, sit tight. We got E3 coming up, and I guarantee you there's going to be a ton of information on Modern Warfare 3 coming up over in the next few weeks, beyond E3. We're just going to get flooded and pounded with Modern Warfare 3 information, and I guarantee you we're going to see stuff about perks. Even if it's just like a gameplay video or whatever, and we see it and someone dies and we're going to see it, it's going to spread everywhere. People are going to pick up on it. Nothing goes unnoticed in the gaming community whenever we see leaked information. It'll be out there in the next few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't know the entire perks list by then. Well, with Sony officially announcing that they are working on the PS4, even though it wasn't surprising at all, but they were like, oh no, we're fully dedicated and we're concentrating on the PS3, which is hacked to crap and failing hard. Hey, don't get me wrong, I love my PS3. I've got two of them. Actually, I've got three. One's in the garage, which is totally damaged, but I got a Slim, and I game on my PS3 here. So don't think that I'm a hater. It's just they're getting pounded. It's not that it's a bad system, and you're right. Right at this moment here, we may not need a new console, but there's enough gap in technology, as I've said before, like beating a dead horse. There's enough gap in the technology that PC sort of gaming can go leaps and bounds beyond what the Xbox, Wii, or PS3 are capable of doing right now. And so with the Wii coming out with Wii 2, setting the bar even higher, they had no choice. PS3 or PlayStation and Xbox don't have a choice in this matter. They can't allow competition to gain that edge. If Wii 2 is coming out, Microsoft and Sony have to respond, or they potentially lose a huge chunk of that market. So it's not surprising that they're doing it. Anyway, the rumor for the PS4 is that they're working on, yet again, another cell processor. And they're working with IBM, which originally designed the first cell processor, which is in the PS3. And the new one that they're working on is rumored to be twice as fast, which is good, but I don't know if that's in sync with today's processors. And I'm not sure, maybe some of you out there that are more sort of tech-savvy, PC-oriented, the cell processor used in the PS3, I know is actually used in other applications as well, is that if we're having a new cell processor that's twice the speed of the old cell processor, is that still sort of in tune with today's market? Is it still leading technology? Is it still leading performance? My other concern here is, and I don't think it's necessarily to do with the processor speed itself, I'm worried that PlayStation is going to go down the same path they did with PS3, which developers have over the years continuously, said that they don't like designing games for the PlayStation because it's harder to port. If you're going to compete with games with Microsoft and the Wii and PC, You need to make it easy for the developers to port, or else they're going to regret it. And then you're going to get crappy ports because they don't want to spend the time. They just want to make the game and then port it over to the other systems as easily and simply as possible. The problem is that it's never easy with PS3 and the developers constantly whine. My concern is that using the new super fast cell processor, the improved one, are they going to follow the same suit? Are they going to create another PlayStation gaming console that developers really don't want to make games for? It's not that they won't, it's just more of a pain in the ass. And I think it's a bad move. I hope that they learn. I hope they use the same programming language. Just take advantage of the cell processor. Use the Blu-ray, that's fine. But make it easy for the developers. I don't want to see any more games getting kiboshed. It's not that you have to revolutionize the programming language or anything like that. And that brings me to a previous rumor as well, where they were actually working with Google and possibly using their operating software from Android or whatever with Google. So I don't know, maybe that'll be easy. I mean, if you're using it from Google, it's got to be simple. It's got to be simple, especially using the Android operating system. So who knows? There's all sorts of possibilities. We have no confirmation other than this rumor stating that the new cell processor is going to be more powerful, twice as fast as the old one. Which, you know what? If the new one is still fine, and a lot of you are saying, you know what? We still got lots of years out of this one. Maybe if we do double it, maybe if it is twice as fast, that's brilliant, and that's all we're going to need. Hopefully, as I said though, the main thing is to make it simple for the developers so we don't get screwed as PlayStation gamers. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching The Gun Shop. Remember to rate the video, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to The Gun Shop. This is a special protest video that I'm putting out supplementing my daily news. Now, you don't have to participate in this if you don't agree with it. That's absolutely fine. I understand that. However, this is a response to the Call of Duty Elite service that was officially unveiled by Activision. Now, we don't have all the details, and granted, some of the details may be clarified. Maybe additional services will be added. But at this point here, based on what Activision has released, I am protesting the fact that they're looking to charge their fans, including myself, who is a fan. Yes, I do videos, but I'm a huge fan of the Call of Duty series. I love the game, but this subscription fee-based Call of Duty Elite is absolutely ridiculous. This game franchise is the most successful franchise in the world. $1 billion in sales in 6 weeks from Black Ops. 6 weeks they make $1 billion. Absolutely ridiculous that they're looking to charge a monthly fee for services that other game companies that aren't close to the success as Call of Duty offer for free. Unprecedented levels. Now, I'm not saying even close, but let's take a look at Bungie. Bungie offers one of the best. They set the bar for providing services to their actual gamers, the gaming community, for the Halo community, and they don't charge a cent, not a penny. They don't charge anything, and Call of Duty is offering something that's already been out there on the most successful. Do you think that they need money for this? Absolutely ridiculous. They make so much money off the Call of Duty. They could afford dedicated service. They could afford to offer all of this stuff for free. And what do? They squeeze it. They're like, hey, look, we're going to put something else out that other people do, but we're going to charge you even more money. So on top of your $60, per game, and on top of your Xbox Live fees, or on top of any other fees that you might possibly have to pay, we're going to charge you even more. Unless that service, unless Call of Duty Elite is like $2 to $3 a month, and even at that is a bit of a stretch, that's the only time it's going to be worth it. And as far as I'm concerned, unless they offer like some sort of customization or some other features that they have not shown nor even spoke about, then this service is just absolutely ludicrous. And I, for one, for the first time in Call of Duty, now I always buy the map packs because I cover videos and I produce videos, so I kind of have to buy them in order to produce them. But this particular service here, I repeat, will not be purchasing, and I am protesting against it. So if you do not agree with this subscription fee, if you think it's a big ripoff, if you think it's basically a douche move by Activision, just looking to squeeze what it can out. Maybe it's on the downward spiral. You know, maybe they see a decline, even though, you know, they've been keep growing up and up and up, and they're probably going to break records for Modern Warfare 3. So what's the point? Why charge for people? You know what I mean? You've got games like Battlefield and Halo and all the other games that give crazy support. You get something like World of Warcraft, which is subscription based, but they offer, you know, an unprecedented level of support and everything like that. But what they're showing here is stat tracking and everything else for a monthly fee is absolutely ridiculous. Like and favorite this video. Please let it explode. They may not give a crap about who I am. You may not give a crap about who I am. But if we can get a video to blow up, Activision will notice it. I promise you, I guarantee you, they will see this video if you blow it up. If you get it up there, if you blow this video up and we say, you know, enough is enough, offer this. The services are great. The services by itself, if you look outside of the fees and everything like that, what they're offering is great. But there's no need to be charging $7 or whatever it is that you're offering. Now, we know it's going to be subscription based, whether or not there's a free. I don't even give a crap if there's a free version and a paid version. Anything that you've seen that they offer in a paid version is offered for free by other companies. You know what I mean? And they're making enough money, way more money than anyone else. And yet they're going to charge us, squeeze, nickel and dime us to the end. Hell no. Absolutely not. I will not subscribe to this service. I will not be shelling out cash for some stupid stat tracking. Absolutely ridiculous. Like and favorite the video. Please get it out there. Even if you hate me, even if you don't like me, send a word to Activision. Tell them this is ridiculous. Tell them we will not do it. And if you choose and if you agree with me, then I suggest that you do not subscribe to that service either, to send a message to them. Thanks. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to The Gun Shop, your source of video game technology and world news in a nutshell. First topic that I'm going to talk about, and of course links to all of these articles are in the description below, so if you want to read them yourself, go ahead. But this one here is basically the owner or producer for Avalanche Studios, Andreas Thorson. Is it Thornson? I think it's Thornson. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, the producer of the gaming this gaming studio basically stated that the PSN network now is actually considerably more secure than what it is for Xbox Live. Now, this particular article here doesn't go into great detail, but I found other ones. I just happened to list this one here. But these basically said that the way that the PlayStation, because of the breach and everything, although it was horrible for us and we were out of commission for a while, they said that now the security for the PlayStation network is leaps and bounds beyond how secure it is for Xbox Live. Now, I'm not going to be harping on Xbox Live at all, and I don't mean to diminish, you know, the amount of progress that Sony has made, but Xbox Live is not exactly like Fort Knox. I mean, it's just like anything else. Hackers have a way of getting into anything, no matter what. No matter how secure you think it is, they just find a way. If they really want to get in somewhere, they always find a way. I've yet to see them say, oh, this one's impossible, or I've heard this website here you cannot get through, it cannot be cracked. You know, sometimes they don't want to, like in the case of cracking into the Department of National Defense for the US, is probably not a smart idea unless you want a SWAT team coming down your door, because if they do find you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But nonetheless, they're stating that the network is actually incredibly secure now. But we've heard this before. When they originally released the PlayStation, you know, we heard about how the PlayStation network was uncrackable, and then came George Hotz with the firmware, cracked it wide open, and even if George Hotz hadn't actually done this, some other hacker would have been there, because as soon as someone says you can't hack this, boom, they're all over it. They are trying to crack the crap out of it. They will get through there and they will find a way. It's the same thing with this. Although it's not Sony stating that it's, you know, an amazing security, even if it is just Avalanche Studios saying, no, it's super secure now, it's like unbreakable. As soon as they say that, all the radars of the hackers of the world pop up and they're like, oh, really, a challenge? So, and there's actually been recent, and I want to give light to them because I cannot stand hackers and I don't want to mention their names. I don't even want to mention anything that they're associated with. I'd rather have them slowly die a slow death in the darkness of nothingness. So I'm not going to give you a link to these articles, but there are groups that are saying that they're ready to attack the PlayStation Network again. And these are the malicious ones. These are the ones that don't produce mods and fun things for us. because there's white hackers, gray hackers, or white hat hackers, you know what I mean. Anyway, these are the pieces of garbage that do nothing but cause misery for us. So anyway, they're looking to attack it, and I guess we'll see just how secure the PlayStation Network is then. Well, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this. This seems more of a political move more than anything, but it does bring a little bit of concern because of the number of people there, the people that are representing this. But in an EG8, you know, a G8 convention where a lot of big countries of the world come together to discuss huge political issues and stuff. Well, the EG8 is obviously, you know, talking about the internet and everything like that, e-commerce. But there are some big players coming to this, and this is why I'm concerned. They're coming together to talk about regulating the worldwide internet. So I'm talking about not just like through your service provider or through, you know, whatever it is like in your local country or anything. They're talking about regulating, controlling the entire thing, controlling everything that happens on the internet. And they're looking to do this across the world. They're looking now to control and police it. And I have a big concern about that. Yes, you know, I don't like hackers and I don't like people that are malicious and breaking in, and there's a lot of malicious activity. But the internet is like the voice of the people. It connects us. It connects us to parts of the world that we would otherwise never ever be able to contact. You know what I mean? We're not going to pick up a phone. And the fact that we're able to easily go online and contact these people from any part of the world, almost any part of the world, you know what I mean, easily contacts us, opens up, we share information. We're able to share information quickly and efficiently. And these individuals, the way I look at it, are threatening not just, you know, you got to understand, it's not just freedom of speech. I know a lot of you write that because we have a large, or I should say this, you know, mostly, YouTube is largely an American based population or audience rather. So you always talk about freedom of speech. The internet is not America. You have to understand that. Your freedom of speech is not relevant in the world of internet. There is no freedom of speech is something that you have in your country. Other countries don't necessarily even have freedom of speech. You don't have a freedom of speech. You do freedom of speech in China, you're going to be locked up. So keep that in mind. When you talk about freedom of speech and everything like that, it is not applicable to the internet. It is not applicable to the world. That is only in your nation. It's the same thing with Canada and the rest of the other Western worlds as well. You know, your freedoms, or what you think are your freedoms, do not apply in this. This is the Wild West, sort of, as they even say in the article. But these individuals, and we're talking about Facebook, Amazon, Wikipedia, Microsoft, tons of these people, like really big names. I'm not talking about the like Zuckerman from Facebook and everything like that. Big hitters here, like all of the big key players. And if anyone's going to be able to do something about it, it's going to be this group. These are all the head honchos. These aren't like the little guys, little companies looking like, I would say even little guys as in IBM. You know what I mean? Relative to the social networking and the control of internet, these people are the kings. And they're looking to actually tighten the grasp. They're looking to control it. I understand that there's malicious aspects, but surely there's some other way that we can do that to control and keep that openness and that information flowing back and forth, because I don't want to ever see that die. I mean, I'm a big person about anti-hacking, and I'm saying, you know, do cyber police or whatever you want to call it, but this is going too far. This is silencing and severing and controlling. It's the government yet again wanting to come in and control what we share to each other. If I want to have a conversation with someone across the world about something that maybe my government doesn't agree with or like, well, too flippin' bad. You know what I mean? It's like they're silencing it. And again, that's why I don't want to say freedom of speech. It's nothing about that. It's like, why can I not travel? Why would I have to travel in a plane to go over to Australia to have a conversation and talk about it when I can do it over the internet? There shouldn't be that control there. Yes, there's malicious aspects to it. We got to think about that. If anything, at the EG8, you should be thinking about trying to create control and people that are able to, you know, beef up security or something. You know what I mean? Think about it that way. But muzzling us, putting your hand over our mouth and saying, nah, you can't do that, you can't say this, you can't go there, you can't do that. You know, unless it's strictly talking about malicious activity, this is going to go nowhere. This is looking to basically just control us, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that all these countries are coming together to control the people, and they're saying that, oh, well, it's about democracy, it's about, you know, speaking for the people. Well, you don't speak for me. Because I absolutely disagree with that. Anyway, that's it. That's what it looks like. The EG8, they're looking to suppress the internet. And this is something that you should be concerned with. These are big hitters. These aren't little guys. So if anyone's going to do something about it, it could very well be this group. Well, this is just a quick little video I did on, someone sent me a link and I can't remember who, so I apologize, but thank you for sending it to me. But it's basically a pic of the Wii 2 leaked stats. Now, we've heard rumors before about it, and over time for Project Cafe, we've heard a little bit more. Nothing confirmed, because it's going to be obviously confirmed in E3. They're going to probably come out and say, here's what it has, here's what it doesn't have. Now, this leak, remember, this could be strictly, someone could have just photoshopped the crap out of it. It's very, very easy to do Photoshop. However, the stats aren't like absurdly, over the top, but they do speak to something of more of a quality product. Now, granted, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm not a big fan, especially if it is going to be like that with the 6-inch screen on the controller. I don't like aspects of that. I think it's going to be ridiculously oversized, way too big of a controller for it. Nonetheless, the stats on the Wii 2 in this pic, if you take a look at it, they confirm the graphics card, and of course I'm going to say that because I'm just going over the stats, so bear with me. Like, it's not about graphics. Settle down on there, ponies. It's the R700 or whatever graphics card, so it seems to be in line with what we've heard. Now, what we didn't hear before, and I heard previously that it was going to be a triple core like the Xbox system. Xbox 360 has a triple core processor. This is saying that it's a quad core processor, and the RAM in it too is actually more impressive. 512 megabytes of RAM, general, 1 gig for video support, and then another, I think, 16 megs or whatever of eDRAM. But nonetheless, that is definitely an improvement in terms of the RAM that they offer. Now, there's going to be it says on here, it says, remember, these are rumors, 250 to 350 gigabyte hard drive on there, which would be really nice. It'd be support, which counters another previous rumor about it being flash-based. So who knows? I mean, we're getting, these are night and day contrasts in terms of the leaked information. I know we're going to have to wait for E3, but it's just, for me, reading this leaked information is more promising rather than the opposite, which is like, well, we're going to give you flash-based, no hard drive whatsoever, and I think that's bad. I don't know, it's a bad move. Now, it's showing also that it supports, what is it, the N64 or maybe GameCube? No, I think it was GameCube and Wii games, so it looks like backward compatibility is going to be in there. Now, they're saying Blu-ray 50 gigabytes on here, which would indicate that it's dual layer. Again, previous rumor said that it was going to be Blu-ray 25 gigabytes, which is single layer, so who knows? Bottom line is going to be Blu-ray. If they do dual layer, I think that sort of goes towards the fact that they may actually be able to support Blu-ray movies, which would be a brilliant move. It would be absolutely brilliant for Wii, or Nintendo rather, to allow that. Create it not just the entertainment console, but if it's truly for family, why not offer Blu-ray and show movies and stuff like that? It truly would become an entertainment system for the family, and I think that's a smart move. And it's kind of like what PlayStation did with that. They, said there was the everything machine or whatever, and they offered that. So I think it would be a great move of Nintendo if they did this. Again, these are rumors, but of all the rumors, these rumors here based on those stats would make me actually reconsider buying it. I said I won't buy it or whatever, and I'll likely do a review if I have it and give one away anyway, but these stats here actually do make it look like an actual respectable machine. Previously, when I was like, don't do it, oh, I'm so disappointed, blah, 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 and a lot of you guys freaked out. But anyway, these stats are promising that, again, these are just rumors, and someone could have just photoshopped the crap out of it. We're going to have to wait when it comes out in E3. I absolutely will cover it, and we'll take a look to see which rumors were false, which ones were full of crap, and which ones were actually real. Hopefully, these are real. Alright, we're going to talk about, yes, the leaks all over the place. Well, it's not even leaks, it's official. Call of Duty Elite. The official trailer is actually on Call of Duty YouTube channel, so you can watch that there. What is it, The Legend of Carl or whatever is talking about it. And let's just look over it. Before we get into my opinion of the service overall, let's take a look at what they're offering. They're basically offering a pretty version, and actually the services are pretty decent. I mean, when you're looking at it, it's something that a lot of Call of Duty players would like, including myself. I think it would be really interesting to see kind of like what Bungie does. So they've taken the success and seeing that the community absolutely embraces what Bungie has done for Halo in terms of their support. Now, I'd say that that sets the bar. In terms of customer support and offering, stat tracking and advice and hooking up and community support, I would say that Bungie, and believe me, I'm not, an Xbox 360 fanboy or anything like that. I just think out of all the services, I think they really do set the bar very high. Bungie's now working for Activision. Nonetheless, what you can see in the game, the way that the game stats translate over to this website, and you can find anybody's stats, you can look at maps and see where most people die, where most people shoot, where most people do anything. And believe it or not, especially if you're looking to gain an edge, if you're looking to improve your game, these stats are actually invaluable. They really do help you out, honestly. I mean, if you know where most deaths occur, you can either avoid it or sit on the perimeter outside and actually peg people, because what it means is that a lot of people transition through there. So the information is actually invaluable. One thing I didn't see on there, which I wish that they did include, is a level of customization. I previously mentioned this before. I was hoping for, and it was more speculating, that they were going to offer this new level of customization, because when Activision was talking about it, when they were hyping it up, which, I shouldn't really be surprised, but when they were hyping it up, they were saying that they're going to set the bar high for a first-person shooter. They're going to revolutionize, well, I don't know if they said revolutionize, but I'm going to say they're going to revolutionize the first-person shooter genre. And I have to say, based on the video that they've shown, they haven't revolutionized anything. All they've done is taken the success of other games like Battlefield and Halo and that community support stat tracking, and then simply put it over on their own website and offering it that way. I don't really see anything revolutionary. Nothing that they've shown on there is something that other gaming communities haven't already offered, and that level of support. So I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed in the fact that, they're hyping it up to be something really, really good. And if it was me doing this, I would have actually done something way better, which is that level of customization. Granted, not all of the features are out there yet, but from what you've seen in there, why wouldn't they cover it? If they've officially released a trailer covering the services and saying, here's Call of Duty Elite, why wouldn't they talk about, the store where you can actually get all these new level customized weapons, customized characters, or anything like that, where something, that you could actually purchase. Because personally, I wouldn't mind handing my money over on to them for content like that. If it was like an individualized avatar character that I could actually bring into the game, that would be very cool and almost worth it to pay some money for that. I don't mind that. But here's where we're getting into the problem, and we're going to get into my opinion here. The fact that they're looking to charge a monthly or an annual, whatever it is, a subscription fee based service for what they're showing is not worth it. They're charging money. You got to remember, the Call of Duty franchise is the most successful. Doesn't matter if you hate the game or if you think it's a piece of crap, it is the most successful franchise, gaming franchise ever. They did $1 billion in sales in 6 weeks from Black Ops. And Modern Warfare 3, the stats, if you're tracking pre-orders, their pre-orders are already actually double what they were for Black Ops. We're looking likely to set new records coming in the fall for Modern Warfare 3. That being said, if they're making record-breaking profits here, record-breaking, absolutely demolishing the rest of the gaming organization or community and the developers, and they're looking to charge you for these additional services, where the other companies, the other game developers, don't charge you anything for it at all. You look at Bungie, they just provide it. You look at Battlefield, they provide a great level of community service, but they don't charge you for it. They take the money that they make from the sale of the game to provide these additional services. I mean, technically, Call of Duty could offer dedicated servers, you know what I mean? Offer unprecedented levels of amazing friggin' eliminate lag, screw the peer-to-peer or whatever, dedicated services, or service rather, offering these this new service, Call of Duty Elite, customization, everything like that. Hell, they could throw in the map packs for free. They probably wouldn't make a dent. But they're so, it bothers me that they're so incredibly greedy that they first try and make it out to be this amazing service when it's really just a rehash, maybe a little bit of a polishing on the edges of services that other companies already offer for absolutely nothing. They don't charge anything. So do I think it's worth the money? Absolutely not. I don't even know what it is. But put it this way, in order for it to be remotely worth your money, if they're going to, you've heard that they're going to offer a discount. This is the ridiculous part. I think that anyone that's going to actually pay for this service, if the service is, say, $4 or $5, even $4 or $5 or more, if it's $4 or $5 or more per month, then you should get your map packs for free, no matter what the game is. Every time you get that game, like a new game, once you purchase the game going forward, I don't know how they're going to do that, but they'd have to ignore Black Ops, which they're not going to do. But any games going forward, they would have to offer them for absolutely free. And the reason being is, each game that comes out, first you got to pay $60 for the game. Then there's like 2, sometimes 3 map packs. 2 map packs is going to cost you $30 for the year. 3 map packs is going to cost you $45. This service, at $4 a month basically is $48. If they're going to offer a discount, they're going to offer these additional services. It's like they're if you paid the service, it was an annual fee for the subscription fee, and it was like equivalent of $4, which is $48. Why not? Why not take that money? They could easily make a ton of money. Take that money, invest it, make the return on the interest or whatever. Or they could easily get that. It's like guaranteed. It's like saying, hey, here's my money. Before you even put the map packs out, I'm going to give you my money, and then you can invest it and make a ton of money for the rest of the year. But no, they're saying that it's going to be, the rumor is, again, these are rumors, so bear with me here, and I'm well aware of that there's going to be a subscription fee base, and that they're going to get a discount on the map packs. A discount is absolutely ridiculous. Unless that subscription fee is like $2, then a discount is not going to be worth it at all. This is a blatant ripoff for all of the community. This is a blatant money grab, and this is Activision going way above and beyond what is actually acceptable in this. Now, I do have a second video that I put out, and of course the link to the video itself, the trailer for Call of Duty Elite, is on the side. But I do have a special video that I wouldn't mind you, if you disagree with it, if you're kind of a little bit disappointed with what Activision's doing, if you're pissed off at what Activision is doing, please watch this video. I encourage you to do so. It is kind of a protest video on this, because I, for once, am not going to be, I refuse to actually pay for this service, based on what's released so far. But again, why wouldn't they tell us about these amazing other features if they were there already? So based on what we've been shown, based on the fact that they're going to likely charge a subscription fee for it, I don't care if they're offering like a free version of it, because likely it's just like a skin version or like just basic crap. But anything, no matter what, anything that they've shown in there, even if they charge anything, a small amount of money for it, like I said, it's got to be well under $4 and throw in map packs for free. Do you think that's going to happen? Hell no. They're not going to do that. So I'm absolutely not going to be subscribing to this. If you are in the same boat, if you disagree with it, if you think this is a blatant rip-off of the community, please do watch the other video that I've put out and support it. Thanks. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the gun shop. I know it's a little bit strange. I'm not using my professional border and everything, but it's so nice outside. I thought I'd come out here and respond to 402 Robert Bowling and, of course, Josh Olin, JD 2020. Now, I know, previously I told everyone I was going to protest Call of Duty Elite, and, I looked at the video. I got it out as soon as possible. I got the news, I watched the trailer and everything like that, and my response, the protest video, was direct response of that video. And it was shortly after all of this exploded that Robert Bowling and Josh Olin, they both came out on Twitter and were saying, no, a lot of the services are free, this is free, that is free. But, and I'll say in my defense when I did the video, if you watch the video at the very end of the video, so they're talking about all these services. I've heard some saying, oh, well, all the services in the video are actually free, but we still don't know what the actual, the fee-based services are and everything like that. That being said, if you watch the video, at the end, it says that some of the features shown in this video are based on, or something along the lines of fee-based. So naturally, you're going to assume that some of the stuff they showed in the actual video was fee-based, and you're going to actually have to pay for. My position was this, and regardless as to all of this, and I understand that the protest video that I put out has some inaccurate information. My response to it, has inaccuracies, but it's very easy in hindsight for both, JD and 402 to say, well, no, it's this and it's this, when you just look at the video when it's just released and it says some of the features shown here are fee-based. Well, naturally my reaction is going to be based on that, not 2 or 3 hours later when everyone's had time to say, oh, no, what you saw was free, there's other things that you're going to have to pay for. That being said, my position still remains the same. And here's how I look at it. And this isn't a shot against, JD, or Josh Olin, I should say, Josh Olin or Robert Bowling whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is that the Call of Duty franchise is hugely successful. No one can argue that. Activision knows that. Treyarch, Infinity Ward, everybody knows, everybody in the gaming world knows how successful it is. That being said, it's the community, it's the fans, and I know that you recognize that. I know Treyarch, you interact with the fans all the time. I understand that. Same thing with Infinity Ward. You guys have had your ups and downs. Nonetheless, the fact of the matter is that you create tremendous amount of profit from this franchise. And while you're offering those other services, yes, that are technically free, the stats and all that other stuff, regardless as to what we've seen, unless you're going to offer something that we have yet to see in the video, which is odd since it's kind of a debut trailer video, but other features in there that can justify a monthly fee. What I'm trying to get at is, we already pay for your game. We buy your game. We love your game. Millions do. You get record sales. You set the bar in terms of first-person shooters. You absolutely do. And everyone else struggles to get to that level. So we make you tons of money. We do love the games. I love the games, and I'll continue to buy them. The map packs. I buy the map packs, every single map pack for both Xbox and my PS3. So I pay twice the amount, and I always get them. Yes, I do videos and everything like that, but I get them nonetheless. Even before the videos, before I started doing videos on it, I always bought the map packs. I do support and I like the Call of Duty community. But it seems at this point here that the amount of money that has been made, and I apologize if you're getting a lot of wind and everything like that, not much I can do, but the amount of money that's being made, surely you could have offered this service, the entire service, not just the portions that you're saying are free, but the entire service for free. Absolutely, there's no reason why you can't do something like that for the community. It just seems to me like a slap in our face. We support you, we make you filthy rich buying your game, but because you make a great game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing on the Call of Duty series whatsoever. I think, is that lawnmower? I don't know if you can hear that, but whatever. It's a community. What are you doing? You know what I mean? You're in my community. I'm outside. It's nice out. It's warm. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Anyway, Josh Olin and Robert Bowling, I understand the services. I apologize for the inaccuracies in my video, stating that you might have to pay for this, you might have to pay for that. My overall point, though, is it's irrelevant. And I know you don't directly speak for Activision, but it would be nice to see some amazing service like Call of Duty Elite, which looks promising, and the services are good, they look great. But the problem is that even any fee associated with it, it feels like you're nickel and diming us. And I think at this point here, growing the community to where it is, to this amazing level, that surely we can be appreciated and respected as fans, that you actually give us something like this for free, for once. You know what I mean? We'll pay for your map packs, we'll pay for your games, but give us something as an appreciation of your community that got you to this point. Surely you won't lose money by offering this service. If anything, it'll attract us more to it because of the amazing support that you have. But to actually nickel and dime us, it just seems wrong, man. It just seems wrong. Anytime that you want to talk, by the way, and I know you won't because you probably ate me already, but Josh Olin and Robert Bowling, anytime that I know you tweeted about the video and everything like that, but anytime you want to talk about it, I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not going to rip you a new one. I'm a very, I can be very reasonable, especially when I'm talking with people. But I tend to, when I'm doing videos, I put a lot of flair into them and I try and tap into the emotion. But obviously, if I would ever speak to any of you, I would be respectable nonetheless. But I know you're busy and you don't want to waste your time with a little YouTube director, but that's fine. I understand, but I wanted to put this clarification video out there, letting you know that I'm aware of the fact that a lot of the services are free. It's just, it doesn't matter what you offer that's fee-based. And I know it's Activision that's doing this, but surely you can appreciate and show that appreciation to your community by offering the entire thing free. You're not going to lose any money. you're gonna make tons of money. As a matter of fact, this would be the biggest move. If Activision, if you actually made this and said, you know what, you're right, we don't need to charge for this. Here's this amazing service, boom. You know, I guarantee you it's gonna switch. People will be like, you know what, maybe Activision isn't as greedy as we all think. Well, I'm just saying, I know you're a business and I know you're there to make millions of dollars. That's the name of the game, but surely something like this, a gesture to your community, would go way, way farther than you actually getting a little bit more money from this subscription. I think it would reassure the series, and I think it would propel you long-term into the future. Anyway, I hope you keep putting Call of Duty games out. I absolutely love them. Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with Black Ops, but nonetheless, it was one blip. Loved World at War Treyarch, Josh Olin, so don't think that I'm a hater of Treyarch. I'm not. Just disappointed in Black Ops, that's all. Looking forward to Modern Warfare 3, and hopefully many of you are as well. Anyway, that's it. I'm Gunsfire. Thanks for watching The Gun Shop. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to another daily episode of The Gun Shop, your video game technology and world news in a nutshell show. The first topic that we're going to talk about is, of course, the PlayStation Network. Now, the whole ordeal of the PlayStation Network getting hacked, brought down, somewhat stabilized, brought back, almost complete, but should have been up and running no later than yesterday. However, the recent statement from Sony, not recent, but they've said basically by the end of the week that the PlayStation Store should be back online. So, I mean, there's a few days out of it. The main thing is weekend games. So, a little inconvenience, yes, to developers, you know, like with the indie games and everything like that. This actually has hurt them a lot too, and this is their livelihood. I know you and I enjoy the games, and we enjoy the content. I'm constantly on the store looking for little knickknacks, free things, or even little games that perhaps I want to try out and play just sort of to kill some time or do some reviews. So it's a little inconvenient for us, but others are actually losing income, and that's kind of their job, you know what I mean? It's a startup, so it has hurt others more than some of us. Nonetheless, it'll be nice to have the PlayStation Store back up and running. However, Japan still will not be up and running. And the reason for this, as I previously stated, is the Japanese government, to be honest, really doesn't trust Sony and really doesn't trust the fact that their new security is meeting all the standards that need to be in place in order to protect its customers. It's basically its people, its population, the society. And the government's like, not until every single thing that you said needs to be done is done, and you can show it to us and prove it, will we allow you to reestablish the PlayStation Network for Japan. So it kind of makes me think, you know, like, are we too lazy? Are we like, we don't really care? Or we're just trusting Sony yet again? But none of us know really is it that secure. I mean, I did a piece on it where saying that, you know, it's supposed to be even more secure than the Xbox Live or whatever. But how do we know that? I mean, yeah, it's up and running again. Maybe they changed some coding, but is it really that much more secure? Did they learn their lesson? Because as far as I can see, almost any website in the world can get hacked. So what's making them think that this is now it's Fort Knox? I mean, it just makes me question a little bit. And the fact that the Japanese government, where Sony, you know, Sony is a Japanese company, and yet their own government's like, no, you're not starting it up yet because we don't trust you yet. So it you know, it kind of leaves me a little bit at ends here in terms of, you know, do we go for it? Do we trust them? But I'll tell you right now, no matter what, I am not putting my credit card back into PlayStation anymore. I will only be using PlayStation Network cards. And on that note, the giveaway, as you know, it was like, what is it, a week or 2 weeks ago? Maybe 2 weeks ago. Around there anyway, close to it, where we gave 50 PSN cards away that are valued around $20 or £20 or whatever. Now those codes have not been given out yet, so for those of you waiting for them, the reason being is because I want to see that PlayStation Store back online and somewhat stable. We've still got a lot of threats, we've still got a lot of people saying that they're going to hack the system. That's not what I'm waiting for. I just obviously want the store to be back up and running and sort of stabilized so we don't have any issues, so that when we do give you the codes, it's not going to be wasted. I know they're saying that it's not, but I'd much rather give you codes, especially if we're going to be shelling out over $1,000 on the giveaway, that you're going to be able to actually use it and not give it to you, then it gets shut down, or oh, it's down again and, oh, we lost this or we lost that. I'm just a little bit weary there, and I know, just please be patient. You will get your cards. Believe me, we're not going to say we listed all your names. You all know who you are, so you know you could easily come out and say you never gave it to us if it's like 6 months later. Nonetheless, be patient. We will be giving those numbers out and sending it to your YouTube accounts as well. Oh, the hackers, they never sleep, do they? It seems like they're just constantly on the go. And maybe it's not that the hackers are really that much more active right now. Maybe they're just getting in the spotlight because of things like WikiLeaks and Sony PlayStation Network being hacked. But it just, for me, and I'm sure like with most of you, with all the news, it just seems like hackers are in the spotlight all over the place. And I absolutely hate giving, shedding light on any of these douchebags. And I'll say that. These people are absolutely malicious douchebags that do nothing for any of us. They're not on your side. If you think that they're protecting your rights, they're absolutely not doing that. All they're doing is hurting us as the public. You may think it's cool and everything like that, but number one, it hurts businesses. And these businesses are the ones that employ your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friends, or whatever. Yeah, maybe you don't like the corp. Listen, I worked for a corporation for 12 years. I don't like corporations and it's insurance. I don't like insurance companies at all. I worked for them, but they paid me, they employed me, they paid my bills, and they helped me raise a family. So you gotta cut them a little slack there. They're not super evil. The people that are friggin' causing most of the harm, causing most of the problems here are these malicious hackers. Now, I'm not saying hackers altogether, because as time goes on, you know that I've learned to differentiate between hackers and the different sources. White hat, gray hat, black hat. And when I'm talking about the malicious black hat hackers that just, they think that they're doing something for us, or they're just pieces of crap, selfish, and they go and they hack it because they think it's really funny. Well, and that's what this case is here. The PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service, or system or service, I think it's services, PBS, they do publicly funded shows and stuff like that, a lot of documentaries. Anyway, they did a piece on WikiLeaks, and I think they more or less attacked WikiLeaks. And I'm not going to give my opinion on that. We can save that for another time. But the bottom line is they sort of said, WikiLeaks is not a good website. It is not good for society. It's not good for us. It's not good for you as the public. And they harshly criticized WikiLeaks. And then this piece of garbage hacker came out, and he's just, he's an attention whore. He's out there. He's trying to get his name out there. But really, he's just a piece of crap, and he's just causing problems for everyone. So anyway, he hacked down the PBS, and he hacked their main website, and putting up his own crap and stuff like that. And it's the same piece of garbage that is threatening to bring down Sony. So before you jump on board and say, oh, I'm going to support him and everything like that, if you're a PlayStation gamer, you should hate people like this, because they're not there to help you. They're not there to support you or do anything for you. They do it for themselves, for amusement, or because they're just pieces of garbage and they just like ruining people's fun, and businesses, which is a real problem. I really don't like these people. Someone needs to pull them out of their Spider-Man bed and give them a beat down and shove their mouse up their ass. But that's just my opinion. I'm just saying that's one suggestion. It could be a keyboard or something like that. I don't know. Depends if you can get it in there. But anyway, let's not go down that road, because my mind will start getting all crazy and I'll enter the dark realm. Nonetheless, he's the same hacker that took down PBS is threatening to basically bring down Sony again. He's one hacker. Yeah, he'll cause a little bit of a problem, but really he's just an attention whore. There's no way that this one little douchebag is going to bring down all of Sony. And if he thinks he is, then he's actually really stupid. He may have talents in hacking, but he's actually really stupid, because there's no way in hell that it's going to actually happen. You may irritate them a little bit, you may bring them down, but they'll always bounce back. They have billions, you have your Spider-Man bed sheets, and that's about it. Well, I'm not sure how many of you are following the Fear 3 videos that are coming out there showing you all the different aspects of the game, single player, multiplayer, but I came across a multiplayer video, and of course, remember, all the links to everything that I talk about on the show are in the description, so you can read and or watch them yourself if you want to, partake or check me and make sure that I'm not giving you false information. Nonetheless, Fear Multiplayer, a new mode called Soul Survivor, is actually really cool. I really like this idea, and I think it's something fresh in the multiplayer world. But if you are Call of Duty 4 players, this mode, Soul Survivor, is going to remind you a hell of a lot of a private match game that a lot of people played called Zombies. No, not the zombies like World at War or Black Ops, but a zombie game where one person was designated a zombie and you would go around infecting people, and then slowly those people would join you on the dark side and you have to go chasing around and knifing them or stunning them, whatever, and the rest of the team could actually shoot you back. Nonetheless, that's sort of what Soul Survivor is. So one person is designated as, and I can't remember what it is, the Reaper or something like that. Anyway, you can see it in the video. Very, very cool. I really like the idea. So one person out of the entire, game, so when you go in there, one person is randomly selected as, the Reaper. Let's just say the Reaper. I know I'm getting it wrong, but nonetheless, bear with me here, people. Bear with me. The Reaper, and then he has to go around and infect people, and then you can shoot him or do whatever, but if he infects you, you have to join the evil side. And so the people that survive, if you survive as a human, you obviously win the game and you probably get a big bonus match. I don't know, they don't go into the details, but logically one is going to assume that. And possibly if you're the only one left on the good side and you actually survive against all the other people that have been, turned to the dark side, I guarantee you're going to probably get a big bonus for that. But what happens is in the game here, so instead of automatically losing it, if you get infected, you join the dark side, but you can still win by annihilating the rest of the actual non-infected people. But you got to be able to, I think, in order to win that, you're likely going to have to eliminate him. I'm just speculating. The bottom line is, there's one Reaper, he infects people. If you get infected, you switch to the other side and still can win if you eliminate all the rest of them. I think that's a great idea. I think it's fun. Keeps the dynamics going. It's just, something, a different spin-off. The big thing here, and maybe some of you that play Fear 2, I'm not sure, was there a multiplayer? I'm sorry, I never played Fear 2, so you're going to have to pardon my ignorance on this. But the movement, if you're aware of the movement, because I never even played Fear 2, so regardless as to multiplayer or campaign or whatever, single player, the movement is going to be very important for this. This actually sounds like a very interesting game. If you're used to Fear 2, then it's not going to be any problem. And if you're a big fan of it, you're going to probably love it. But for a lot of us that haven't been there, I'm curious to know whether the gameplay there, the mechanics are going to be the smoothness of the movement. You know what I'm talking about in the game engine. It's like the difference between Battlefield movement and Call of Duty movement. You know what I mean? Like there's an integral difference between how the game feels and plays, and I'm not sure what Fear 3 is. So that's a big, if you're a fan of that, please let me know what the gameplay is like. And I know it's not remotely close to those, but which side would it be closer to? Is it very smooth and fast and responsive like Call of Duty, or is it more realistic and sort of, brings you into the game, makes you feel a little bit more into it, with the movement and the bit of the input lag there, like Battlefield. So I'm just curious on that, because I think that's going to be a big factor in terms of how many people they draw into Fear 3. Because I really like this idea. Actually, the Soul Survivor multiplayer, I'm very curious to see what they do. Actually, I think I did see another video on another mode of the multiplayer. It's a cooperative multiplayer where you constantly have to outrun the storm, I believe it was, in Fear 3. That, again, that was another cool one. I think, actually, I'm completely overlooking Fear 3. And you can tell, by the way that I'm talking to you, it's like I'm having a revelation right here on the camera. I think I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to try and dig up as much information on Fear 3 and get back to you on that, because come to think of it, I think it should be a strong contender. Both those multiplayer games that I'm thinking about there actually are something fresh, something new. I'm just hoping that the actual gameplay is there to support it and really bring in the people. But I will be back with some more information on it for sure. Well, if you're a big fan of PlayStation and you're looking forward to, or you're going to likely buy the PlayStation 4 whenever it comes out, again, I'm speculating around 2013 at the latest, 2014 maybe, but I think it's going to be 2013. I don't think they're going to wait that long. Despite, no matter what they say, no matter what Sony's coming out and saying, the reason being is there's actually some articles saying, oh, no. They're not actually specifically denying it, but they're denying the fact that they specifically said they were developing the PS4. I know it's kind of like a little dance on words and everything like that. You can't really tell what's going on. But I think the bottom line is they don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, and I still don't know what that saying actually means. Nonetheless, they wouldn't want to get that information out there because that sets everybody on fire, especially Microsoft, who I guarantee was also working on stuff, but they don't like to put that out there. They don't want to say, hey, let's do this. Plus, it takes away sort of focus off of their current marketing campaigns, which in Sony's case is actually the NGP or the Vita or Vita, I don't know, that the NGP, coming out. So they wouldn't want to detract from that marketing. So they're probably saying, oh, well, we're not talking anything about the PS4. Guarantee you they're working on it. Nonetheless, the bottom line is that in an investors meeting on, I believe, May 27th, Sony came out and said, listen, we're not looking at dumping a ton of cash into, financial investment in creating the next technology like we did with PS3. Because in PS3, when they developed it, not only, the cell processor, they worked with IBM creating that, and we all know it was hugely expensive. To buy that console, they had no choice. They had to bring the price down, and they still lost a tremendous amount of money because of the technology that we're selling at really a discount. Even though we still found it rather expensive, what was in there at that time was cutting edge technology, and they suffered a tremendous loss. They've made that loss up now with software titles and stuff, but it took them a long time. But basically what they said in this investors group is that they don't want to put that kind of money into the next console. They actually, purchased and created, semiconductor factories, making their own stuff. And this time I think they're going to probably outsource it, which is a great idea so that we don't have to, shell out $600. Because if you were like me, you got it when it first came out and it was flippin' expensive. You know what I mean? And we don't need that. And to stay competitive, why take so long to actually get your money back? You know what I mean? Put something out solid. You've already got a solid product, PlayStation Network blip aside. But nonetheless, put out the 4, but don't break the bank on this one. You know what I mean? Put it out competitive. Make it $299. Make it even $399 is fine. But $600 when you first come out is absolutely ridiculous. Most of us, that's how you're not getting the younger generation too. Having little Johnny or Sally going up to mom and dad saying, hey, can you buy this? And they look at the price and go, whoa! You know what I mean? They're not going to buy that. That's when you end up, and no offense to the Wii, but that's when you end up getting the Wii. The Wii's a lot more value price. You're like, oh, well, little Johnny wants a video game system. Let's get him a Wii. Way better value, still fun games, great support. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a Wii as well. I don't play it a lot, but I'm saying for that particular audience, for the parents that are buying these systems, it seems to be more valuable. So it's going to be imperative when the PlayStation 4 comes out that they don't ramrod us with this super high cost. Great that the technology's there, you know what I mean? I appreciate it. I love my PlayStation 3s. Yeah, I know 3s. I'm an addict. What do you want? I do video games. So nonetheless, the price is not going to be super high, which is great news. Hopefully it's super competitive with the others and we can sort of stay in there. I'll always buy all of the systems anyway because, as I said, I'm a huge addict and I've got issues, but I love my issues. Oh, well, the Call of Duty Elite program, the information is just coming in by the truckload. And, obviously lots of clarification, a lot of backtracking. They're getting hammered a lot. And I'm not going to say that I'm not part of the problem, if you were, but I'm simply stating my opinion. There's issues, and before I even put out my protest video or any of my own opinion on this, the video that was actually released on Call of Duty on YouTube was already tanking. It was already getting killed and annihilated by people. I simply happen to agree with majority of the people that were disliking the service. You know what I mean? And yes, there was some miscommunication and there was some inaccuracies in terms of what I said in one of my videos, but I still stand by it. I still think everything should be free. Nonetheless, a new service coming to, as part of the paid subscription service for Call of Duty Elite is a Call of Duty TV series exclusive to members. Who knows how it's going to be? I'm not saying that's going to, oh, well, that's a horrible idea. Who's going to watch that? Because who knows? Maybe really cool. I like seeing those sort of things. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. At the same time, I'm still taking the same position. I'm not paying for it. If they happen to have, Call of Duty Elite, a TV series exclusive for members, well, you know what? Enjoy yourself. But I can guarantee you, if you're going to put it online, no matter what you make it for your premium subscribers only, it's going to be all over the internet, and I'm not going to have to pay for it at all. I'm not saying, and I'm not encouraging anyone else to do that sort of stuff. It's just a fact of reality. You put a video out there, no matter what you do, no matter, if it's paid or not, it's going to go. Heck, movies are out there. Yes, they get taken down, but there's always postings all over the internet. Whether it's on YouTube or some other site, you'll always see 6 million friggin' releases. So I guarantee you, any Call of Duty TV series that goes out there, that they put there for a subscription only, you and I, whether you're subscribed or not, are both going to be able to watch it. The difference is I'm not subscribing, and I'll still be able to see it. That's just reality. I mean, that's the way it works. Anyway, they're supposed to be in, what is it? They said they've engaged some top Hollywood talent. Well, who knows what top Hollywood talent means? Very subjective. Maybe it is top Hollywood talent. Maybe it's going to be an amazing series. And I'm not saying it's going to be good or bad. I'm just saying, you know, you try and make things exclusive. I guarantee you, the way the internet works, it's going to be all over the place and no one's going to have to pay for anything. I think you should honestly just make it free, man. Give support to your community. Make it out there. It's not that I'm begging. I can pay for whatever I want. You know what I mean? This is my business. I'm not begging for money. I'm not in a cardboard box on the street or whatever. No offense if you're watching that and you have a TV that's getting a little messed up. Nonetheless, you know, I don't need things to be free. I just think it's the right thing to do. I think we give enough money buying the games and buying the map packs that a service like this, anything associated, whether it's a TV series or whatever, it's going to be leaked. You're going to lose money on that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have to pay for it, and I guarantee you I'm going to be able to see every single episode. That's the way the world works. Make it free. And as I said before, appreciate and respect your community, Activision. Make it all free. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching The Gun Shop. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to The Gun Shop. Well, apparently, after a month of severe video game withdrawal, all of the services for PlayStation Network are back online, including the store. And I believe this was happening last night. A lot of you reported that it's back online. I did actually manage to go on, but I had a slight error message. Like, I was able to go into the store and then it said, unable to connect. Even though I could see it in the background and it was moving, I think they were probably tweaking it or fine-tuning it. I haven't gone on this morning yet, so I don't know if everything's fully operational, but by your messages, I'm assuming that it is. Unless you're in Japan, of course, and the government is still sort of saying, no, you're not going on yet. We need to make sure that everything is safe for everyone again. And just as a reminder, because the PlayStation Store is back online, at this point here, and I'm just saying this as a precaution, don't use your credit card information anymore. Go and get I know it's a little inconvenient, it's rather disappointing, and I know they're saying, oh, it's even more secure than ever. But it seems that no matter where you are, and because Sony is still in the spotlight of all these douchebag hackers that seem to think that it's, you know, the thing to do, it's like the cliche of hackers now, let's attack Sony, I still really wouldn't trust it. Let's see what happens first before you start slapping in your credit card information in there, because God forbid the same thing happens. I don't care if they are offering insurance, you know, as part of this, you know, we're protecting you thing. I'd rather not deal with it altogether, and the easiest way to do that is to get PlayStation cards, buy them from the store, like Best Buy or wherever it is that you actually get them from, GameStop, EB Games, whatever. That's the safest way to go. And now that the store is up online, for the winners of our 50 PSN card giveaway, I'll get those cards or the codes to you as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of the week, depending on where you are, because sometimes I'll have to figure it out. If I can't, I may end up having to just PayPal forward you the equivalent of it and you can buy it yourself, because some of the areas like Norway and stuff, I'm not exactly sure how to actually even get a hold of a PlayStation Network card for you, so it might be the easiest way for us to do that. Either way, we'll figure it out, no worries. We'll get those codes out there. So remember, if you're going back online, be a little cautious. Don't just slap that credit card back in there. I most certainly am not going to be doing that, and I would recommend that you also sort of have the same reservations about slapping the information there, despite what Sony is saying about the security of it. It's just nice to have the store back up online. Hopefully we'll have that welcome back program up and running very, very soon, so we can get our free stuff from our withdrawal or whatever from over the last month. And this is just a small article that I came across as well. I'm not exactly sure if it's a smart thing to put this out there, and maybe, you know, it's not necessarily the company that's doing it, but they did, you know, it's like setting up challenges. But anyway, the Call of Duty Elite, as you all know, has been officially launched by Activision, supplementing the main retail versions of the game so as to be giving you premium content. Now, for the premium content subscribers, the ones that actually pay for the whatever the services are that you get, because I don't think we're really clear as to what they get at this point for that, but nonetheless, they've assured the public, And I'm just saying, they said they've assured the public that security is at a premium. They've made sure that, you know, when you put your credit card information in there, that they've got, you know, staff dedicated just to the actual security of the website. Now, I'm not sure what planet these guys live on, but and I'm not trying to downplay it. Maybe they have a great security there. But over the last few months, hell, over the last couple of years, we've seen a drastic increase in the number of attacks, cyber attacks by hackers. And I'm sorry, but there is no way in hell that I'm going to trust that Beachhead or any company, even if you were the Department of National Defense or whatever it is, the FBI, I will not trust that it's all secure. I know they're saying, you know, oh no, we've got a dedicated staff. Well, I'm sorry, but unless your dedicated staff are the top hackers of the world and able to stay on top of it, and even then, do you trust them if they're actually the hackers? I don't know. I wouldn't, I know I put the protest video out and everything like that, which I still stand by, but that aside, do you really want to trust putting your credit card information into this again? Regardless if it's the Call of Duty Elite or anything right now, you know, Amazon-wise and everything like that. I mean, we can't just halt all sort of, you know, e-commerce and everything like that, but just the number of attacks and the exposure of accounts, critical information and credit cards, it's really starting to, I think, hurt e-business. I mean, we've got a really good thing going here. Really, you know, consumerism is so much easier to deal with. I love buying things over the internet. It's so much easier. But then, you know, the number of hacks and cyber attacks is just really putting a kibosh on that. So I know they're saying that they got premium security, but do you actually trust putting your credit card information into the Call of Duty Elite program? Do you think that their security is so good that no hackers can get in there? Highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Well, Google in China, the Gmail accounts in China have officially been hacked by Chinese hackers. But the thing is here, you got to also understand, the Chinese government has such a tight hold and grasp over the internet that's in its own country. And what I read, actually, you got to read the article on this. It's very interesting. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I know for a fact that even our website, even Next Gen Tactics website, we get pounded by Chinese, I don't know if they're hackers or whatever, but they constantly are coming on. They're constantly trying to take over, you know, the domain or whatever, and spamming the crap out of our forums and everything like that. So we do get a lot of, you know, I guess you want to call them attacks from China ourselves, even on our own website. So it's not surprising that this would happen, because it was all to do with commerce. But Google's been having a hard time. A lot of companies out there want to tap into that Chinese market and the market in China market, because it's a huge, huge marketplace. It's like the untapped, you know, the Wild West. You take hold of that, you get in there, you're going to be laughing. So this is not good news for Google, so that their Gmail accounts have been hacked to crap by Chinese hackers, a cyber attack. But what's interesting, in the article itself, is they talk about the fact that the Chinese government actually conducts cyber attacks. They do a lot of espionage over the internet. And even when it's not the official government doing it, like I'm talking about breaking into US things, exposing, shutting down other places, not malicious, but abstracting, is it abstracting? Obtaining? Whatever, you know what I mean. They're going in there and they're taking the stuff. They're taking stuff out of websites, but information. And they're actually, it says in there that and of course, who knows where the source is from, but I'm sure I could have looked up, done a quick Google search to find many, many different sources. So, you know, I'm not questioning it at this point here. I have nothing to show otherwise. But they're saying that the government, and even if it's not the government conducting this espionage, that the hackers, the cyber attacks, are largely sponsored by the government, because they have such a tight hold over everything that happens on the internet in China that really nothing that the people do there is not watched and seen by the government. So what they say is that a lot of the attacks, regardless if it seems like it's coming from like just, you know, kid hackers, a lot of times this is actually sponsored by the Chinese government. So the fact that Gmail is in there, or Google rather is in there in China now, that it could have been the actual government itself attacking it, even though it's coming in, it's just like, you know what, come on in here, and then they attack it. I don't understand it either. I don't know why they would do that if they are allowing business to come in and then all of a sudden sponsor an attack against it. I don't know exactly the premise of it. a lot of times it's just email accounts and information from like US officials or high up business people. And it's like, you know, in that case I could see it. If there were actually high up people in Google working there, the government may actually want to sort of obtain the information to see what kind of communications are going, you know, what kind of business are they conducting in their country. Because they didn't shut it down, they just cracked into a certain key Gmail accounts, which I'm assuming are high-end or US related you know, accounts there to try and actually track the information. Anyway, it's a little bit of conspiracy theory there. The bottom line is that a lot of Gmail accounts have been hacked as well. And if you believe the article, a lot of the hacking, if not all of the hacking that happens in China is either by the government or sponsored by the government, which is absolutely insane if you ask me, but it sounds a little too conspiracy theory-ish for me. I don't know if any of you guys have any information on that. If you do, please put the comments below on that. I'm just, you know, it's kind of baffling that it would happen this way, but there you go. Well, it appears that cyber attacks and Hacktivision, or is it Hacktivision? I think it's Hacktivision. I think that's what it's called. When they hacktivists, that's what it is, Hacktivision. It's like video game. Activision and hacking is Hacktivision. Play these games and we'll hack the crap out of everything that every time you connect to us. Nonetheless, NATO, which is, you know, the governing body for a lot of the allied forces, allied countries, is actually looking to put something at the parliamentary level to deal with cyber attacks. And if you read the article, believe me, you won't want to read the article, but I'll put a link to this. And I think it was Ben Weaves that actually gave me this particular link here, but it's very, very lengthy. It's more of a kind of a government report that they're submitting for the parliament, for the NATO parliamentary level, or assembly rather, to get approved. And this kind of goes hand in hand with an article I did before about the EG8, where all the big people, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, a lot of the big people are now looking, they're coming together and they're saying, you know what, enough's enough. We're going to have to start regulating it. The internet, you know, by the sounds of it, the internet is no longer going to be this free domain, this information highway. They're actually trying to get almost all of the countries in the world sort of consigned to this. And now that NATO's getting involved, like, which is, you know, typically highly political and military oriented, and now they're getting involved. You know, it's just a matter of time. I'm telling you right now, it's a matter of time because of the hackers. The hackers are all the ones that are, you know, and you get anonymous, oh, freedom of speech and freedom of information, all of that stuff. They've actually slapped themselves and shot themselves in the foot by doing all this stuff, by being as stupid as they are. I, for one, love the freedom of information on there. I love that I can go on there on Google, type in something and get information, whether it's completely true or not. The fact is that you can usually obtain information incredibly fast and easy without having to go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful way to connect us in other countries. But because of the amount of cyber attacks increasing every single friggin' month, we see more and more and getting hit bigger and bigger. And we're not just talking about information being stolen, but companies are losing money. And when companies start losing money, the billion-dollar companies, you can be guaranteed they're not going to sit back and do nothing about it. So now we've got the EG8, you know, the meeting of all these huge countries, huge corporations saying, enough's enough, we're going to have to do something about this. And now NATO's getting involved, and I guarantee you this is not going to be the end. This is only the beginning of the end for the information highway that we see it as today. And unfortunately, it's a reality. But every single one of you that supported all these hackers, supported all these, you know, hacktivists, you know, like Anonymous and everything like that, you've pretty much done it to yourself. You think that you've got all these freedom and rights and everything like that. You don't own the internet, and they don't own the internet, but they have a hell of a lot of better chance of setting something up where they can control it, where you and I have absolutely no ability to say no or anything like that. They'll simply come in there, put a kibosh on there. It'll be near impossible to get the same information. You know, the rights that we have in that fluidity of information and that connectivity to other people. I'm not saying like things obviously like Facebook aren't going away, but a lot of this stuff where our freedom, where you perceive freedom of obtaining information will be highly restricted, and it's very unfortunate that a few, you know, rotten apples are spoiling the bunch. These douchebag hackers, hacktivists, and all the other people that they think they're doing you a favor and you may be supporting them of actually hurting us. And the end of this, you know, it's going to revolutionize the internet, and not in a good way, not from what I see, but You know what? I'm not angry. I'm not angry at these people because they're losing money. I'm angry at these hacktivists. I'm angry at Anonymous. I'm angry at all these hackers that you think is cool, and all of you that use them to do, you know, not necessarily jailbreaking, but to hack into places, you know, video games or whatever. You've all ruined it. You've all put it in there. You've all attributed to this culmination where everyone's, you know, the big dogs and the countries have had enough, and now we're about to get ramrodded on it. So thanks a lot. Thanks for protecting my rights. Screw off. All right, we're going to get into another, you know, major leak, if you want to call it that, from Kotaku. A lot of you have been talking about it. I didn't want to release something right away because a lot of times when I do that, and this information doesn't have to be like out there right away. I wanted time to analyze it. I wanted time in this particular case to see what the people at, you know, Infinity Ward, Robert Bowling and everything are saying about it, because when you jump the gun, sometimes the backlash comes back. And you know what? They always have hindsight. So despite what you read, despite what you see, they always come back and say, oh, no, this is the way it is. They have time to respond, so I'm giving them time to respond before I respond. That way makes it seem a little bit easier, and then, you know, maybe they're going to say something later. But nonetheless, this is the way I took the approach on this one. So Modern Warfare 3, there was a lot of leaked information, as I said, from Kotaku. The same source that provided us with legitimate leaked information. Now, this legitimate information that we've seen and was confirmed by Robert Bowling is supposedly from the same source that gave us the perk and the kill streak information. Now, Robert Bowling has come out in response to this, and he's said a few things. Now, what you got to pay attention to is not just what he said, but what he didn't say. Now, granted, you know, in Twitter, you only have a limited number of words, so someone could say, well, you know, he couldn't go on and say, this is true, this isn't true, that's true. But what he could have easily done is said, the entire article is wrong, it's false, there's nothing valid in there, or most of that is all crap, none of that is concerned. But what he did was he specifically addressed certain parts of the issue. So the fact that he's specifically targeting parts actually speaks volumes as to the legitimacy of some of the information. It may not all be true, but it certainly speaks volumes in terms of, you know, that it has a very good chance of being true. So let's take a look at what Robert Bowling, or 402 on Twitter, if you're following him there, what he said about this article. First, he said there is no stopping power. There are no team perks. There's no TAC nuke, no one-man army, no commando. Now, first of all, the article was talking about team perks. The only time they mentioned stopping power was in conjunction with the team perk concept. And because Robert Bowling came out, and I'm going to trust him on this because, you know, he's not going to come out and lie, blatantly lie, but he said there's no such thing as team perks, there's no such thing, and there's no stopping power in there, which kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on that. I'd like to see what they're doing with it, but I almost wanted stopping power and Juggernaut back for once. I know it seems a little bit flip-flop of me, but anyway, I could have, I explained that before why I wanted that. Nonetheless, he said, no team perks, no stopping power. So I'm not even going to talk about those perks that they mentioned in the article, because if he's saying that there are no team perks, then we're just wasting time talking about them because it's not legitimate. Maybe they thought about it. Maybe it was you know, really early on, take a look at it, and they were considering doing something like that, and maybe they didn't. Because if they are doing it and the stuff is legitimate, then Robert Bowling's going to look like a liar. And I'm not saying that he is a liar by any means. I'm just saying I don't think he would put himself out there to look like that, because the credibility would be shot, and then I'm going to be all over it, and I'm going to be making fun of them and calling them all liars, and it's just going to get ugly, and we don't need that. But what's nice to hear is no one-man army, no commando. Because a lot of people complained about that. So you're not going to have 6 million kids running around, well, not even kids, I mean, even I did it. And I'm not a kid, I'm a bald gamer, sad little gamer in my basement. So even I did that as well. But no commando and no one-man army. The people that were complaining about Modern Warfare 2, we play Modern Warfare 2 at Next Gen Tactics a hell of a lot more than we play Black Ops, because we find the game fun. Despite the problems with commando, despite the problems with one-man army, we still play it. So the fact that they've removed it, and we're going back to that sort of style, Infinity Ward style in that gameplay, I think is actually going to be awesome. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of torn with is tactical nuke. I don't care that tac nuke is in there. If they remove the kill streak stacking, which is, you know, using one kill streak and you get kill streak horrors, and they camp it out. You know, they call in the Harrier, they sit back, they don't expose themselves out there, they don't move anywhere because they're allowing the Harrier to do its work without risking getting killed. And then they wait for the Harrier, which gets them the chopper gunner, which gets them the nuke, and they basically don't work on it. If they use the way that Black Ops has done it, which I think is a brilliant way of doing it, which is non-stackable, you have to go out and physically knife or shoot someone to get to the next kill streak, then I don't see a problem with TAC Nuke, because there's not a lot of people that have the legitimate amount of skill required to get 25 kills in a row. It doesn't happen that often. And the ones that do get it, I mean, hell, if they get a 25 kill streak, non-stackable, just going around and shooting people without, you know, boosting or anything like that, hell, they deserve a tactical nuke. Why not give them a tactical nuke? It was actually fun. It was something like, boom, you know, it just changed the dynamics. I didn't see a problem with it, you know, other than people, you know, kill streak whoring with it. I mean, that was the only problem with it. But, I mean, if someone gets 25 kills in a row, stop whining. Just because you suck, it's not their problem. So that's the way I looked at it there. So let's take a look at, what is it, the perks that have been released. Alright, let's talk about the perks. And I only want to talk about 3, which is Blind Eye, Assassin, and Point Guard. The Dead Silence, whatever. It's like sort of similar to Ninja. It's just really quiet. Who knows what the pro version does. They also mention Recon, but they're guessing what it means. We likely think it's this, or we likely think it's that. I don't want to hear guesses. If they've either got the information or they don't, and since they clearly didn't have any information on Recon, why even talk about it? So Blind Eye, Assassin, and Point Guard. Let's talk about Point Guard first, which is 2 assists equals 1 kill in terms of kill streaks. I think that's kind of cool, but I think personally as a perk, I would probably never use it. I don't necessarily get that many assists in a game. You know, not being egotistical, but I get kills, way more kills than I would assists. Maybe I get 2, 3 assists. So if they're doing 2 assists equals 1 kill, to me it seems like it would be a waste of that perk. And usually, and I'm assuming that's going to be the same with Modern Warfare 3, is that it's a tier program. So you've got three perks, unless there's no other, you know, remotely decent perk in that tier where Point Guard is. It seems like a waste of an actual perk, because, I mean, how often are you going to get assists? If you're one of those guys who's just spraying all over the place and you're getting tons of assists, maybe it actually would be good for you. But I think, you know, the concept is decent, but I think it's one of those waste of a perk, and I don't see many people using it. I think there would probably be way better perks out there to use. Now, here's an interesting move, and I think, again, despite people thinking that they're not listening to the community or anything like that, the separation, the Assassin and Blind Eye, if those perks are actually true in this. Now remember, I'm going on the assumption that, you know, Robert Bowling did not discount that information. He only responded to a very particular spot. So let's assume that these perks are true. What it speaks to me is that they've actually been listening to the community, particularly with Black Ops and the Ghost, using the Ghost perk, where, you know, they're saying, you know what, that is not fair. The Ghost perk basically makes you invisible to everything. No one can spot you. It's like an unfair advantage, and almost everybody uses it now because why not? I mean, you become this powerhouse when you use Ghost. So what they've done is they've separated some components of the actual Ghost perk, and they've done it with Blind Eye. Blind Eye is the, you know, immune to computer and player controlled kill streaks. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means. It could be automated turrets, could be, you know, chopper gunners or whatever. Not chopper gunner, well, it could be chopper gunners because that's a player controlled, or with, you know, attack helicopters, which is computer controlled. And maybe that sort of provides you with that cold-blooded, you know, effect there. But then you've also got it separated down to, what is it, an Assassin, which is immune to UAVs, you know, pro versions, counter UAV, whatever the pro versions are irrelevant, you know, heartbeat sensors. So they've taken it and they've taken that Ghost, that overpowered Ghost perk, and they've separated it. So I'm not sure if it's on the same tier. If it's actually on the same perk level, then it'll work. But if they've separated into, you know, those 2 perks there are on different tier levels, we may still have the same problems, depending if there's actually more advantageous perks on either tier to sort of make people want to say, well, that's great, but this is way better perk in conjunction with that. I think for that to work, for them to separate it and to acknowledge the fact that Ghost was an overpowered, you know, overpowered perk. I hate to say that, but you know what I mean? The problems that associated with the Ghost perk in Black Ops. By separating them, if they keep them on the same tier level, I think that'll go a long ways and alleviate a lot of the headaches. So I think they are definitely listening. If these are legitimate perks, it's a brilliant move to do that, and I think it would alleviate a lot of stress that a lot of players found unfair in the Black Ops game. Alright, let's talk about some of the kill streaks that were mentioned. First one being EMP grenade. Kind of cool. And remember, if these are true, we're going on the assumption that this stuff is true because Robert Bowling didn't directly discount this information. So let's just say that it's true. The EMP grenade, instead of having an EMP where it just obliterates the entire map, which in Modern Warfare 2 it did, and I forget what level it was. It was pretty high up though. You know, which is great, but maybe a little bit unfair because EMPs don't usually blanket, well, unless you're huge and they're a pinch and they're, you know, ginormous EMPs, and yes. But what the EMP grenade looks to be a localized one. So maybe it would be brilliant in Search and Destroy, but if that case there, it would have to be a lower kill streak. Using an EMP, throwing it in an area, and disabling sort of that, you know, your HUD, any of the operationals, you know, like turrets and stuff like that, disabling that in a certain area. I think that's actually a brilliant move. Don't know what you would be required, like maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 4 or 5 would actually be good, maybe 5 around there. Anyway, I'm just putting that out there. So EMP grenade looks pretty cool. What I like too is the little bird. That's actually very cool. Hopefully, the little bird, which is like a tiny remote-controlled helicopter. Now this is what I'm hoping it's actually going to be used for. We don't have a lot of information on this. I'm hoping that, number one, it does not have explosives in it, because I don't think you actually need it to be effective. If you had a tiny remote-controlled helicopter, make it at 3 or 4, just like the RC car. Non-explosive though, so we don't have all the same issues. But what I see a huge advantage, you wouldn't even need it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like for games like Search and Destroy, a remote-controlled heli would be absolutely brilliant. Can you imagine actually controlling this with a camera on it, being able to zoom in, you stay back, and being able to actually find enemy players by going up high in the area and going high in the sky and zooming in on them. Being able to locate and transmit that information to your teammates would be invaluable. That would be awesome. Now, maybe a little bit unfair, so maybe the kill streak would have to be a little bit higher again, like 5 or 6, because in Search and Destroy, it's all about, you know, not knowing where they're going. And if you had, you know, this remote helicopter, it could be problematic for people. Two remote controlled things I want to talk about as well. The remote turret, very, very cool idea. I like that. Maybe something like the lines of the spike camera, you know what I mean? So you would be able to control it. Maybe you could use it up in your HUD. If you switched over, you'd be able to see it. So when people are coming, rather than it waiting, because there's usually a delay with this, the turrets or whatever that you throw down, the sentry guns, not turrets, sentry guns that you throw down. A lot of times there's that delay. But if you have a camera on it and it's remote controlled, I gotta assume that you can actually see something, that there's some sort of camera attached to it, because if it's remote controlled, how the hell are you gonna know when to fire it? So having a camera and the turret may be actually overpowered, to be quite honest with you, because not only being able to see them, but to shoot a second that you actually see them and round it up, although there'd have to be a time to spin up, which is normal for those turrets as well. But even if you don't kill them, the fact that you can see them there is a tremendous advantage. It's like a 2-in-1 kill streak. Ooh, I'm getting a message right now. We'll get that later. So remote turret. So I'm not sure that, possibly overpowered, but very cool nonetheless. And then there's remote mortar. Now we got mortar strikes in Black Ops, which was great, but the way that they're looking at it here, at least by what I read, is that you're actually going to have like an aerial view and possibly be able to see the enemy players on the map. Kind of like when you're doing a Predator missile, you know what I mean? You get to see a red outline of the enemy players there, making it a lot easier. And I think that would be brilliant for mortar as well, because mortar strikes, they're a great idea, but a lot of times they're ineffective, especially in team deathmatch, which is what most people play. If they're in domination, obviously they can be very effective because you can cover the actual control points a lot better. Search and Destroy, again, you could somewhat cover, but it seems almost like a waste if you could cover one of the bomb sites if it was planted or whatever. But again, with just 6v6 and just the general play style of Search and Destroy makes mortars sort of irrelevant. So if you're actually having remote mortars, being able to go on top and being able to an aerial view of it, I think would go a long ways. It sounds like some of the kill streaks are ultra powerful, so maybe some of these aren't necessarily true, you know what I mean? I know some of you right now are looking at going, I don't know, man, that's going to be problematic, it's going to make them overpowered. Now, the last two that I want to talk about, of course, before we wrap things up, is the airdrop. The what is it? The protected airdrop? I don't know what it's called. Whatever. It's the one, or escort, airdrop escort. So I'm assuming when you drop your smoke grenade down for the airdrop, a lot of times in free-for-all, it's near impossible. The worst thing you can pick a lot of times in free-for-all is an airdrop, because the time that it drops, you got the entire, every single person on the map coming after you, and a lot of times, more often than not, unless the map is huge, you get killed. So having an airdrop escort is a very, very brilliant idea. I think you throw that, the airdrop down, it comes down, maybe protect it and shoot until it's actually there, and then once it's there, getting protection from like a temporary protection from heli or whatever it is, I think that's a brilliant move. I think that's great. It's a great opportunity to finally use airdrops in free-for-all without getting your ass handed to you. I think that's a brilliant idea. And the other one is the booby-trapped, I forget what it's called, but the booby-trapped airdrop as well. So what you could do in Hack, what is it, Hacker Pro or whatever, where you could switch airdrops and make them actually explode when people come after you. With this one, it's actually pure, booby trap. You throw it down, you pretend, oh, I'm running away, you got me, and then they open it up and it dies. I think that's a great way to do it, because they're not going to know whether it's a normal airdrop or it's actually booby trapped. In most cases, I guarantee you someone's going to crack that thing open. They're not going to just leave it there. They're not going to be like, is it booby trapped, is it not? They're just going to go for it. If they die, they die, and that's the way it is. So I think there's some very interesting looking perks and kill streaks that are released in this. And again, remember, I'm not saying it's all 100% true, and I waited for Robert Bowling to sort of have a say on it. But what he didn't say speaks volumes. Remember that. He addressed certain areas of this leak, but he didn't address the others. So which either tells you that, number one, he didn't want to go through every single point and say this is true, this isn't true, this is true, this isn't true. Although he did get very specific, remember, in his response. No nuke, no stopping power, no kill or team perks. So he did get specific, but he didn't address everything in that leak, and I guarantee you he's aware of it. He could have just blanketed and said, most of that stuff is not true, it's absolutely rubbish. So which tells us that some of it, if not a lot of it, is true. So I'm very happy. And plus, the same source, I'm saying very happy. I just like the fact that we can get information and not have to wait for stupid marketing campaigns from Activision. We're all gonna buy it anyway. Just give us the information, let us know what it is. I know you wanna wait for your pretty little videos and stuff like that, but I don't really care how I get the information or when I get the information. I just want to know about the game so I can make a decision whether or not I'm going to get it. I'm just kidding, I'm going to get it anyway. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to The Gun Shop, your source for video game technology and world issue news, or issues, I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm saying. I cover a lot of things here. Anyway, I'm going to start off by talking about the Call of Duty Elite. Yes, I know it's a hot topic, and for the most part, I understand that some of you, if you're looking at it, it looks like I'm constantly complaining about it, constantly trying to tear it down. I think it's important, while we're all getting bombarded by, Activision's marketing campaign, and you have to understand, all the people that have like interviews and stuff like that, and they're supposed to be giving their unbiased opinion, are absolutely not giving it bias. Everything is promoting and fluffing up this service. So I think it's equally important that while they're promoting it, and I'm not saying that it's horrible service whatsoever, there is value in what they're actually going to be providing us. I'm not saying that, but I think it's important that we take a look at the flip side to see, is it really as good as what they're saying? Is it actually going to provide you with value for your dollar? Although all we've heard really is the free stuff so far, I'm going to speculate, educated guess again, not just guessing, but educated guess based on all the information and the articles that I've read, what some of the components, not all, because obviously that's impossible for me to do. I don't have an in there, nor would they ever allow me, because I tend to not sugarcoat things, and if I don't like something, I'm going to say I don't like it, even if I'm, have an in or something like that. So I think it's important that I never make those contacts, actually. You know what I mean? I don't want to schmooze, and I don't want to start giving you guys the cherry and the super shiny, happy, sunny days opinion of these things, when I can stay sort of a little bit more unbiased in terms of the information I give you. A little more objective, that's the word I'm looking. It's never unbiased, it's always my opinion, but objective rather than subjective. Anyway, here we go. So all the free stuff, you know, you've seen it all over the place. There's tons of articles and stuff. And of course, if you want to read it, one of the articles, all the links to everything I discuss is in the description of the video below, so you can read it yourself. But we know that there's tons of free stuff. It's the stuff that that's not free that everyone's kind of wondering, like, is this actually, gonna be valuable? And here's two things, and I'm speculating on this as well. This is an educated guess. Same thing that I speculated on the PlayStation Network being back up. It was an educated guess based on what I've heard and what I've seen. And here's what I believe are going to be sort of two features of the paid program for Call of Duty Elite. The first part is that all DLCs, and this isn't shocking, all DLCs will be included in the actual paid subscription. So that means if that's the case, that the paid subscription at minimum is going to probably be around $45, because there's no way that Activision is going to give you a discount, because they're looking at it as, we'll put the DLCs in there because it's an all-inclusive sort of package that they're talking about here. So they're going to include the DLCs, but they're giving you so much more. So I guarantee you it's going to be more than $45 per year for this service. Because if you're looking at any particular Call of Duty, whether there's, up to 3 DLCs per year, that means you pay for your game $60, or if you're in Australia, over $100. Ouch, ouch, I did that article the other day. That's nasty. I feel for you, my gamers. I feel for you. Nonetheless, $60 plus $45. I guarantee it's probably going to be around $50. I would look at it as same as $50. So if you're Xbox, you're going $60 for the game, $50 for your Xbox Live, $50 for COD. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, that's ridiculous, but if you buy the DLCs, and I'm going to say this in support of it, if you buy the DLCs, $45, $50 really isn't that bad, and I would take it all back. I'm looking at it from that perspective. If it was $45, hell, I'd see the value in it. I'd be like, okay, even if they didn't, throw in anything else, I'm still going to spend that anyway because I always buy the DLCs. So if the actual package, if the Call of Duty Elite package, and really all they're wanting to do is to make sure that you always buy the DLCs, everyone buys the DLCs by saying, okay, it's part of it, $45, which is just the normal cost of the DLCs, but we're going to throw in all these additional features, then it would absolutely be worth the money. So that's something to keep in mind, if they're included. The other aspect was there's a possibility that within the confines of the game, in Modern Warfare 3, there's going to be like a separate category, a separate part of the game. As historically, you're going to be able to play all the same things, the campaign, the co-op, which is what it's at, survival mode, and then the multiplayer, as you've always played it before, for absolutely free. Well, $60 for the game, and then that's it, and you get to play it. And I don't know why all this information is going out there about, oh, well, is multiplayer going to cost money? No one's asking that question, so stop trying to fluff it. No one cares about that. We all know that the multiplayer is not going to cost money. What we're concerned about is what you're trying to charge for this Elite, rather than just giving us a service. So let's just keep focused here. So I think there's going to be a section in Modern Warfare 3 in the multiplayer that's going to allow just access for Elite members. So you're going to be able to go in there. And I think, based on the article, the one that I've actually linked in the description, it sounds like there might possibly be specific DLC, or DLCs rather, only accessible to premium members, which is fine. If you're going to pay for it, that sort of stuff is normal. But again, it creates this separation in the class. It's like, well, look at these amazing games here, look at these amazing levels, and if you want to play them, you're going to have to pay this money, rather than just giving support, rather than just making DLCs lower cost, or giving us dedicated servers, or something that really sort of speaks to us. I think it causes too much distension again amongst the players. You know what I mean? It creates this level, this hierarchy, rather than us all being on the same level. It's like this, not monarchy, but you know what I mean? The upper class, the middle class, and we know in society even that causes tension amongst people. So when you have that in a game, it's going to cause the same problems. People are going to get, jealous, and maybe they can't afford it and everything like that. But there's still these people that are still buying the game, the $60 that made Activision rich as hell. you know, they get nothing in return, and I have issues with that. I know they can't afford it and everything like that. It's the same thing with DLCs. If you can't afford it, causes a bit of an issue. I've always thought that DLCs should have been free. You see a lot of other companies doing it for free. Why not Call of Duty, the most successful one in the entire world? Anyway, so that's it. DLCs look like they're going to be included, possibly exclusive DLCs, only available to members. Now, the final aspect of this, and again, it seems plausible based on the wording here, and I think they're very careful not to release information, but it looks like there's going to be a separate tournament-based area, and this is why I'm saying that it might go hand in hand with this exclusive DLC only available to premium members, but it looks like they're going to have this tournament area where you can actually win prizes and go into competitions, you know what I mean? Kind of like what is it, game battles, you know what I mean? MLG game battles, that sort of setup there with prizes. Now here's my problem, and this is where I don't like the bullcrap that's coming from Activision when they're talking about it. They're like, listen, it's a lot of work, it takes a tremendous amount of effort, we've been working on it for 2 years, and to determine, like with prizes and tournaments and handling all of that takes a lot of a lot of manpower, and that's really a premium service. Well, you know what, you may be right, but guess what? Game Battles doesn't charge you anything. A new service, which XJAWS is actually associated with, and we actually at Next Gen Tactics were involved in the beta. We were supposed to be involved in this, but we had to direct our energy elsewhere because we're working on a lot of things right now, and we couldn't sort of focus on that, unfortunately, so we had to sort of detract from it. But Game Dunzo, go to Game Dunzo. You're talking about like all this energy and you got to charge. Game Dunzo and Game Battles charges you nothing. As a user, to go there, to use those services that Activision's talking about, costs you absolutely nothing. It doesn't, cost you anything. You sign up, it's a free account, you go into tournaments, you can win thousands of dollars, hundreds, thousands, other actual prizes, and it costs you nothing. So why is it that they're saying, oh, well, it's a lot of energy or a lot of work to get these tournaments and prizes, and it's directly integrated with the Call of Duty? I know some of you are like, well, it's seamless. You go to Game Dunzo, it's seamless. We went on there on a beta, and it was Meatwagon, Spider-Bite, myself, and Bentley. And I have to say that the experience was awesome. It was like basically playing on dedicated servers. You got an automatic invite from like a bot or whatever, like an automatic sort of system within the actual confines of Game Dunzo. And you can win prizes, cash prizes, and everything like that. I mean, if you want to see it, you probably go to XJAWS channel, and he has, I think, some videos on there. I'm not sure how many he has on there, but it's Game Dunzo. Dedicated servers, flawless. I mean, Meatwagon's out in California, we're out more Atlantic side, right across the country, perfect signal like dedicated servers. So you can't tell me that with the resources of Activision that it was so taxing that it's really just a premium account and it costs you money. Bullocks. As a matter of fact, if that's what they're talking about, if that's what they're saying that is costing all this money, then maybe we at Next Gen Tactics will look at this and offer the same service, because if Game Dunzo can do it and Game Battles can do it, then I'm sure that we can get some programmers and web designers to do this and offer it to you for free. You know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous. I don't like it. That's what I see as being part of the premium, but I don't still see the value in it whatsoever. Well, the PSN store is back up. And some of you have, you've been writing to me, you're experiencing some errors and some issues and everything like that. Well, I personally went on there and I've gone through the process already, and I had the same errors. There's a lot of errors, but I went and checked on the PlayStation blog, and hopefully some of you have as well by now, and you're a little reassured. But the reason why you're getting a lot of error codes and stuff like this 80, whatever, it doesn't matter what the error code is because all of us are just friggin' pounding through this little door. We're funneling through and we're getting jammed up. That's it. All you gotta do is keep trying. Actually, I did the same thing. I got the error code, I'm like, great, it doesn't even work. Tried it again, great, it doesn't work. I went back in 5 minutes later, boom, got in. And then all of a sudden, it's the same thing. Even when you're inside the confines of the store, you're still going to come across these error codes because people are just flooding in there. So just bear with it. It does work. I've already got all my games. I downloaded everything, even the PSP, although I probably won't put it on the PSP. But nonetheless, I went through everything to make sure everything works, and it's absolutely fine. Now, some of you are experiencing a rare issue where you clicked on one of the, get the first game or whatever, and then all of a sudden, there was no games that appeared. And then the first game part disappeared altogether, and you couldn't actually go back in there. There is a solution on the PlayStation blog. Of course, that link is in the description if you want to see it yourself. Basically, you have to go in through your accounts management, transaction management, and then it's the the Sony promotion or something. You'll see a Sony promotion sort of area there, and apparently you can actually download the same content through there that you would have actually gotten through the store. So just go through the back door where you go through your user, your transaction or your user account management area. Go through that way and you should be able to get it. That's what the PlayStation blog is. They have a step-by-step, so go on there and follow it from there. But it seems to be working. I've got my games, and if you're experiencing issues, I recommend that you check out the blog or go through the account management section. Finally, we get some more information on Battlefield 3. It seems to have been pounded. At first, we got a ton of information for Battlefield 3 when they first officially announced it. Then we got hit with Modern Warfare 3, so all of our attention switched over there. Even if you weren't really a fan of Modern Warfare 3, you still were directed there, because I see a lot of, fanboys going in there pounding it. And this is the way it always is. You got COD fanboys, you got Battlefield fanboys. Always going to be there, always going to happen. But anyway, we got some fresh information for Battlefield 3. And I think it's actually some really good information. First off, they're going to have co-op campaign mode. And I'm really excited about this. And I don't know if they haven't announced whether it's going to be two, 3, or 4 players that are going to be doing it. But the fact that it's co-op campaign mode, I'm really stoked for. My hope is that it's a true campaign mode. It's a true cooperative campaign mode and not the way it was, which many of you sort of were pointing out, not the way it was in Call of Duty World at War from Treyarch, which was selectable missions from a campaign. It wasn't a true, linear campaign mode. It wasn't like you started in there and you went from start to finish. It was more of a selectable sort of campaign mode where you can choose which missions you wanted to replay again. So that's not what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you were like, oh, well, no, Treyarch had it. Not the same thing, not even remotely the same. What I want is a cohesive experience from start to finish, like you're playing through the actual story the way single player actually flows. You know what I mean? Very fluid, very continuous. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm hoping that it's going to be that way too. Now, in terms of multiplayer, this information was previously released, but again, it's nice to have this. It's reassuring that the game is going to feel a little bit more realistic, because really that's what it is. It's not as arcadey as Call of Duty is. And I'm not knocking Call of Duty at all. I do like that. When I'm in the mood for, a fast and furious quick match, that's what I put in. I love Call of Duty. Love it. However, if you want that immersive experience, that's, that 20 minute plus match where you really feel part of the team, where you really feel like you've accomplished something and you walk away going, wow, that was like an epic battle. That's what you get from Battlefield. Now, the fact that you're able to go prone in it is paramount. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it was extremely frustrating when you were playing Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I'm not sure, I think it was in Battlefield 2 as well. I'm sorry, I'm a noob to that, and it was PC, and I never got into that game, so maybe you'd be able to answer that. However, in Battlefield Bad Company 2, when it was introduced to consoles, there's no prone, and it's very unrealistic. For a shooter that's sort of trying to, be a little bit more realistic in terms of, military shooters, it was extremely unrealistic not to be able to go prone. Maybe they did it for balancing purposes. Nonetheless, it doesn't make sense that when people are shooting you, that you just kneel down and you can't actually drop to the ground. Any person getting shot is going to drop to the ground, and that's realistic. And, I felt like I was part of the experience more so than I was in Call of Duty, but simple things like not being able to go prone or whatever seemed incredibly unrealistic. So it's nice to see that they've kind of like, it's got to be in there. It has to be in there, no doubt. And now, in order to balance it, people are like, oh, well, we're going to have snipers in the hills and everything like that. Deal with it. It's realistic. You want the experience, and yet you don't want them to be able to go prone. It seems counterproductive and a bit hypocritical. However, previous articles, which I've covered as well, DICE has said that they're going to counter that. They're going to counter the fact that the snipers are now even less of a target, and you're going to be able to actually pin them out. So I don't know if it's going to be like some sort of, perk system or whatever that's able to pinpoint where these snipers are. So rest assured, and if I'm going to put my faith into anyone, it's going to be DICE that they're going to balance this properly. So anyway, that's a nice thing to have. The other thing is, instead of completely destroying vehicles like tanks and stuff, you're going to be able to temporarily disable them. I don't know if it's going to be like an EMP or maybe like a satchel charge that blows off the track off the tank and disables it temporarily until an engineer can actually fix it and put it back on. I don't know, but it sounds very cool. Again, it's sort of making it part of that realism. It's sort of making it You don't have to just destroy things with RPGs all the time. Sometimes you can just disable the tank and it's got to be repaired or whatever. I think that's a great element to it. The other aspect is mountable guns, you know, mountable machine guns or whatever. We don't know if it's just machine guns, but they did confirm that they're going to have mountable guns. I don't know if they were in Battlefield 2. Again, I haven't played that game, but I know they were in Battlefield Bad Company 2. So it's just sort of a continuation of features like that. And I think it's important to have them in there because, again, they're part of the war experience, and they do fit. It's not overpowered by any means. For snipers to be able to take them out, I mean, you're a sitting target there. A lot of times, even when I was playing Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I was on one of those mounted, I don't know how many times I even was able to kill anyone before a sniper put a friggin' ventilation in my noggin, you know what I mean? So I do believe that they're going to be able to balance it properly. Now the last aspect, and this aspect here, again, is sort of going in their campaign to pull that Call of Duty audience over, and they're adding the team deathmatch aspect. Now this particular game type or game mode is not favorable amongst Battlefield players. They don't actually, that's not something that they're interested in. That's more of a Call of Duty type game experience where it's a no-brainer. You go in there, you just shoot, you have fun, it's fast, and it's more the arcade-like type experience, which is why I believe that they're doing it. It's to pull that audience. It's like, because in Call of Duty, Team Deathmatch is the #1 most played game type out of any others. If you go into any game, it doesn't matter if it's COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, doesn't matter what it is, when you go into multiplayer, most of the players, majority, the biggest number is always Team Deathmatch, and I believe it's free-for-all. But anyway, Team Deathmatch is always there. So the fact that they're implementing that and saying, hey, you know what, we've got this amazing experience, wicked maps, destructibility, everything like that, and now we've got Team Deathmatch. It makes that transition, it makes that appeal for the Call of Duty audience, you know, to go over there like, oh, well, maybe I can still enjoy that, and maybe slowly integrate these people, you know, that are only feeding on the Call of Duty type arcade action, high action sort of, you know, quick games, over and let them dance a little bit with what Battlefield offers. Maybe when they're playing Team Deathmatch, they start playing the other game types and they're like, you know what, it was long, but man, that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. I like the team aspect. And slowly start getting more and more dedicated Battlefield gamers, which I think is important. And I don't care about the fanboys, you know, saying, oh, we don't want Call of Duty. Well, screw you. You're too narrow-minded. I want lots of gamers in there. The more people in there, the better for longevity of that series. You know, build it up. The more money that goes in there, the more research, the better the games that come out in the future for them. So by all means. As a matter of fact, I think this competition between the both actually serves the industry great, because they're actually making it look like both of them are trying to amp up their value so much that instead of gamers going, oh, I'm just going to buy this one, oh, I'm going to buy this one, they're like, wow, both are so great, I'm going to get both of them. So I'm actually think that their competition amongst each other to try and steal is actually helping them simultaneously grow and attract new gamers. And I think that's a brilliant thing to do. I think it's going to be really good for both of them, and I'm excited to play both of them as well. Yes, EA and DICE have decided to strike back, and obviously this isn't something that they just whipped up. This has taken them probably years in development as well, but Battlefield 3 Battle Log, it is basically the answer to Call of Duty Elite. It's basically offering all the same qualities and services that Call of Duty Elite is promising to offer at absolutely no price. There is no price, there's no tiered program, there's no like, here it is, here's for the basic, and then if you actually want to shell out even more money to us, then here's the super amazing Battle Log experience. The entire service, no matter what, and we don't have full details on it either, all they've confirmed basically is more or less every single feature that was in Call of Duty Elite is going to be in Battlefield Battle Log. I know it's Battlefield 3 Battle Log. There's a bit of a tongue twister there. But anyway, so they're saying basically, well, here's our Elite program, and we're not going to charge you a dime. No matter what, it's not going to cost you anything. You know what I mean? And still with the DLCs, yeah, you're going to have to pay for it, but you got to pay for it on Call of Duty as well. So this is really them. They are totally going, you know, punch for punch. They are friggin' pounding the crap out of each other. And you know what ends up? In the end, you and I benefit. We get these amazing programs. They're trying to beef it up. They're trying to compete with each other. And in the end, as gamers, we're benefiting. We're getting all of this. Except if you actually have to pay for super premium content from Elite, which I'm still on the fence. Maybe it's going to be amazing. Like I said before in this video, If the DLCs are offered as part of it and it's, close to the total cost anyway, then it's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to actually get it. Why not? If you actually normally buy the DLCs, then why wouldn't you? It makes sense to do that, and then any other services they offer is a no-brainer. But the fact is that I like that Battlefield 3 is not letting them get away with anything. They're not letting them sort of say, hey, look at this amazing experience that we offer you that's not over there. Well, guess what? It is over here, and we're not going to charge you anything for any of the stuff we put on there. There's absolutely no fees no matter what we introduce in there, and I think that's really exciting. Now, we don't have a lot of information on the battle log, but I'm sure that they're going to be offering state-of-the-art heat maps and all that other stuff, integrated with Facebook, as if that's something like amazing or something. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little jaded from it, because when I read it, they're trying to make it sound like this amazing social aspect, but all of the stuff is already been done. It's just sort of amalgamated, and I don't see the difficulty in doing something like that. Hell, we could do that on our own website if we wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Not difficult whatsoever. So it's nice to see Battlefield 3 right there in step with Call of Duty saying, nah. You're not going to be the only ones offering this stuff. We got our gamers' backs as well. So it's going to be exciting to see this fall. I'm excited for both games. I think it's going to be an epic friggin' time. I think we're going to have a great time, especially if you're into first-person shooters. Alright, and this is to wrap it up. This isn't really a news, but something that, I'm really glad I came across this. And of course, it was actually my wife. I'm always in the basement. I'm always working on stuff, so I don't get out very often. And she heard it on the radio, and she's like, wow, you got to listen to this band. And the band's called Kopek. It's an Irish band. They formed in 2002. Their first album came out in 2010 called White Collar Lies. Awesome. I've got to say, every song I've heard from them so far, and I'm not talking about these sort of, and I apologize if you're a big fan, because I've actually got these albums as well, but 3 Days Grace, something that sort of feels a little repetitive after a while, but these guys have a solid sound. The dude is an amazing lyricist. There's I think two really big hits that they had, which is Love Is Dead and Cocaine Chest Pains. Both spectacular songs. And I'm going to put, if you look on the sidebar or whatever, I put a link there to their YouTube channel. Go there, write to them, let them know that the Gun Shop sent you. Listen to the music though. I mean, it's just solid. It's like rock. It's so easy. I actually played them live on my live podcast the other night, and I love them, man. I keep listening to them over and over again. As a matter of fact, I keep on playing their songs that my wife Pam went out and got me the album this morning. She's like, here, and I'm like, nice. So this is actually the album right here. White Collar Lies, Cocaine Chest Pains, and Love Is Dead. There's another actually amazing one if you want to go on their YouTube channel, and I'm not plugging them, they're not paying me. I just went out and bought this. I just happen to friggin' love it. I think it's an amazing sound. I did write to them. Hopefully they write back. If you're watching this, holla back. I love this. I wouldn't mind actually using one of your songs. Spectacular. There's one that you should listen to, and this sort of goes a long way in terms of the talent, like pure talent. The guy's got an amazing voice. I cannot wait for new albums to come out from this guy. Well, not new albums. I'm just saying I'm enjoying this one. I'm thinking about long-term future. I love it when you come across a band and you think, wow, that's a great song, or a great sound or whatever. I'm a huge fan of Tool, Nirvana, and you wait and you want those new albums to come out. You're like, please don't ever stop making music. And I'm getting the feeling from these guys as well, but he does an acoustic version of Subhuman. You totally got to listen to that. The dude's got a sweet-ass voice. They're just mad talented. Irish band, White Collar Lies. Go to their YouTube channel, tell them the Gun Shop sent you, but listen to the music. That's more important. Give it a thumbs up because it is spectacular. Actually, I feel really strongly about it. Absolutely love them. Awesome band. Anyway, that's it. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to The Gun Shop if you haven't done so already. Thanks. Peace. Okay, so I just finished watching the Microsoft press conference live, and I'm going to try and keep these as brief as possible because we have a ton of information to get through and I want to take forever. Anyway, the press conference opened up with, of course, one of the biggest games coming out this year, and it was curious that they would show something from Call of Duty, obviously their relationship, but nothing, absolutely nothing from Battlefield DICE, which obviously they're not looking to nourish that side there, so it's just curious. I mean, it's a multi-platform game, and they show a ton of these other games except for Battlefield, and I think that's largely because I don't believe that there's any Kinect capabilities with Battlefield, so they didn't want to emphasize it. Because I'll tell you right now, the entire thing seemed like a giant push for Kinect again. It was like a repeat of last year. It was like too much Kinect. You know what I mean? Show us some unique gameplay. There was a good, you know, sort of mix in there and everything like that, but it just seemed to be like 90% Kinect stuff. And a lot of the titles, I'm sorry, but were garbage. Like, they just looked really bad. I feel really bad for the Kinect users because there is such potential. I've always been a fan of the Kinect. I think that's actually a remarkable device, but I don't know if it's really being utilized properly. Anyway, they opened up with Modern Warfare 3, a trailer and some gameplay footage of the underwater sequence, you know, when they were scuba diving, and then interior in the sub, and you got to see the new MP5 SMG with the silencer, and I believe a red dot was on there as well. But it was nice to see it because I was very curious to see what that weapon would react like, you know, more like the MP5K or like the Call of Duty 4 mod or MP5 that was in that game. And I think it's, you know, from what I could see, it was more like the old style, but maybe a little bit of a mix. I think I'm just sort of leaning towards it. Maybe I'm hoping that it's more like the Call of Duty 4 style one. Anyway, nonetheless, when you watch it, I'm going to be completely honest here, and believe me, I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely love it, but it's nothing amazingly, like, blow your mind. As a matter of fact, when you watch it, it could have been a plug for Modern Warfare 2, and there's nothing wrong with that, because as I said before, as I've always said, I don't see that they need to improve the engine in it. I mean, if you're a huge fan of Call of Duty, this is the Call of Duty that you want to play. And for those of you that haven't played this and have only played Black Ops, I guarantee you're in for a treat. Although, you know, the seasoned Call of Duty players are like, oh, looks like the same. You know, still great cut sequences, still looks like a lot of fun. The campaign does look like it continues the lineage of the Modern Warfare series, which is great. We absolutely want that. But I'm actually happy. I'm happy to see that the gameplay does remind me actually of Modern Warfare 2 and a little bit of reminiscent of Modern Warfare 4. So I'm actually happy that it was like that. I know some of you weren't overly impressed with the fact that it looked like that, but I, for one, am glad that it's going that way. And I'm looking forward to the title. I think it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be a title that we can really, you know, jump right in and still have the same fun gameplay in it with the tweaks, of course. No one-man army, no commando, no nuke. So it does look like it's going to be a bit of a different experience, but the same feel, which to me is incredibly important, and I'm really looking forward to that.